Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Yola Nash is New York.
And now it's time for my poetry corner and my favorite poet, Fela Cedarbaum, aka Mano Dano, and her beautiful poetry. I must admit, it touches my heart all the time, and I absolutely encourage you to explore Fela's beautiful art. You will never ever regret it. So please check out her website, manodano.com.
Manodano.com.
Do you remember a time when your brain told you?
All right, we're finishing up here with the Lola Nash Show.
Tale of its own?
Be coming to you in about 3 minutes or so. A lot to talk about tonight. Yankees, Mets, NBA free agency. We got a little bit of everything tonight. So the next 2 hours, sit back, enjoy. Give us a call at 800-848-WABC 9222.
Did the life you were living and the thoughts you were thinking
Hot outside New York City today.
with your deepest desires?
Tonight.
Not the ones that are stilled by a
Friedman.
toy or another, or by love
Hello,
that
Jimmy
consumed by
Turner.
fire. But desires that asked questions that would not be stilled by all.
Again, if you don't want to watch on
Facebook,
Facebook or on YouTube and you want to be able to hear all the content and you're not living in this area, go to WABCradio.com. There's a click on button that says listen live. You do that, I'm right there. All right, one of my final sips here.
And swoop you up like a prince on the whitest horse. Or did you deny what your heart yearned inside? Ended up
Bruce, be ready to say hello.
with remorse? Did you wait for a sign or intervention divine to still your
Divine intervention.
What did you do when nothing showed up? Did you
Julie, I'm
bury
trying to
your
come to
head
Atlanta
in
in the next
sand?
week or a week and a half, and I'm not promising.
Or did you not bury your head, but gave up desire and passion and every last spark? From the seat of your soul, inscribed with your blood, take heed
Hey,
of
what
this
is she
pretty
talking
smoke.
about?
Don't be afraid of its force or its power. Endorse who you have been.
Oh, a shout out on Facebook to, if they're listening or not, but Hanheiser Bo Bach. Thank you for that shout out yesterday. That was fun. And I got a lot of giggles from it, so thank you. Love Bo Bach. Love you too, Hans.
So beautiful. And I promise I'll feature Fela again on my next episode. Unfortunately, it's time to wrap up the show. Time flies.
Or
I
fortunately.
know. But the only thing I can say now is don't miss my next episode. And what else? Please don't forget, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And my handles are so easy to remember. It's just Yola Nash or Yola Nash Show. So until next time, stay well, be happy. I'm Yola Nash.
The Yola Nash Show. WABC, New York. The following program does not necessarily
Time to rock and roll.
views of WABC Radio. It's Saturday evening. Time for Talking Sports. Here's your host, Jonathan Friedman.
It is Saturday evening, and we are talking sports right here on 77 WABC. I'm John Friedman. Bruce Clayton is on the other side of the glass. Bruce, how are you? Chuck is our call screener. Charles, what's happening?
What's going on, Johnny? How are you?
All is good. Lots to talk about in the next 2 hours. You bring it, we'll talk about it. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-WABC. That's 800-848-9222. Models.com. Also, we're streaming the show. Go to WABCradio.com. Click on that red Listen Live button, and you'll get us on your mobile device, laptop, etc., and enjoy the show on the World Wide Web. Also, you can watch the show. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Type in Talking Sports with Jonathan Friedman. It's public, it's live, it's right there. Lots to cover in the next 2 hours, including The Yankees got game 1 over in London. We'll discuss. Johnny's Atlanta Braves are in town. We'll talk about that. Comedian and Mets fan Steve Hofstetter will join the show at 11 o'clock. NBA free agency is about to get underway. A few transactions already today. We'll talk about that. Chuck will keep us updated on scores and finals around Major League Baseball and other sports news. Your calls and a lot more. And speaking of calls, give us a call on the Gotta Go to Moe's call-in line at 800-848-WABC. That's 800-848-9222, models.com. So if you like a lot of runs, right, the Yankees and Boston over in London today provided you a lot of runs. First inning, each team got 6 runs apiece. And then when I started following, the Yankees had a big 13-7 or 6 lead or whatever. And then it seemed like Boston got back into it. Chuck, here's the deal. And it looked like a lot of people were into the game in London. Do they care over there? Is there juice going on?
There might be, but I have no idea. I think they're more used to watching like soccer and whatnot. And to be honest, they should be used to a 17-13 score because they see it every year with football.
That's true. And you know, it's one thing. I know that they like when football comes over there. You can tell there's some juice because, for football. But I guess baseball is a little different. And I'm kind of wondering why we're over there. That's the kind of thing. Are we trying to? We're not going to put ever a franchise over there. So I'm just trying to wonder what they're trying to do. And if I'm a Yankee and or Boston fan, I'm not thrilled about it. You know, I'm losing home games. And who is the home team? If I'm a Red Sox, and especially the Red Sox, who are having some issues right now and looking up at the Yankees, I'm not happy about it. I'm not. And by the way, they go from Boston to Toronto to Cleveland or something like that. This is part of a road trip for them. So they'll be awful tired in the next few weeks. That takes a lot out of you. And the Yankees just keep doing their thing.
Yeah, their offense is rolling. Their pitching is worrisome, to be honest, because their starters aren't going deep into games, so they're having to use the bullpen over and over again. And today, for example, when you score 17 runs and you still need Adam Ottavino to come into the game, that's really a problem. So at the deadline, you're not only going to need to get a starter, they're also going to need to get a reliever as well.
I compared the Mets bullpen after thinking about the Mets bullpen all week, and we all know what happened on Thursday with Diaz and what have you, and that, you know, that they'll put some runs on the board. The starting pitchers will give them some innings, and then they'll throw the bullpen in. You know, about 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I had a virus. Okay. Right? And I had a virus, and it started with my head. I had, you know, a little bit of low-grade fever, achy, felt terrible. I mean, really felt terrible. And, you know, it took me literally until like this week, the Monday or last Sunday or whatever, to finally get it out of my system. Matter of fact, I went back. I was out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday 1 week, and I went back to work Thursday and Friday, thought I was back. And then after a show, by the way, I felt terrible the day before Father's Day and kind of relapsed and whatever. The Mets bullpen has a virus. And no medicine is going to take care of this right now, not at all. And it's the kind of thing, maybe it's got to run its course and get out of their system. And unfortunately, as this is going out of their system, the Atlanta Braves are winning games. And some of those, or a lot of those, have been against the Mets. And they keep finding themselves, so what are they, 9-10 games out of the Atlanta Braves looking up?
All I know was that the Mets are 10 games under, and they're closer to last place than they are to third place.
Now, Jeff Lax will be in studio. He comes from Long Island. He'll eventually get here. And I pretty much remember him telling you and I that the Mets would not deal Diaz at any point of this season.
I mean, right now his value's pretty low, but I think if he starts to put together a couple of good outings, his trade value is going to be back to what it was.
Well, here's the deal, by the way, with him. In my opinion, this is the deal. Listen, he had 50 saves last year.
Just going to bring that up.
And by the way, from the standpoint of he's facing a tougher situation in the American League than he is the National League. Right. So, you know, it's not like he doesn't have it. Now, he's facing a new scenario, and I don't want to hear this is a New York thing, that he can't handle New York. That's nonsense. So, and obviously it's easy to put it on him as the closer, especially after what happened on Thursday, that the Mets, you know, the third baseman gets the big home run, right? Frazier gets the big home run. And and you're thinking, okay, he's going to close this game, and it didn't happen, and they like to focus on that, and he has not been good. What's his ERA? 13 point something or whatever. So it's easy to focus in on him, and hopefully it may kind of be the thing where he's not going to turn this thing around until next year.
I think the problem with Diaz was he was so overworked last year, and I think you see that with not only Diaz but a lot of relievers. Like 1 year, not 1 year, but the year that they get like really worked past their limits of what they're used to, that following year they struggle for the entire course of the season.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend earlier today, and Diaz kind of reminds me of a Chasen Shreve situation. And for my Yankee fans out there, you obviously know Chasen Shreve. He came over from your Braves, Johnny, and he was excellent his first year. But Girardi used him so much that after that, he just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And he struggled in big situations. Fastball velocity dipped down. Now that really hasn't happened to Diaz, but you just see it whereas though the usage is catching up to them.
And interesting, another scenario where the Mets traded this guy to Seattle, this bullpen guy. He was terrible in Seattle, got traded to Atlanta in the beginning of the season, and he's been lights out, this guy. I can't think of his name right now, but he's been great coming out of the bullpen. Yeah, exactly. Coming out of the bullpen, he's been great. So sometimes it's a scenario, so whatever it is, but it's easy to focus on Diaz, but that whole bullpen
The Mets are cursed.
it's really, really bad. It's
Another thing that I don't get about the Mets is
yeah.
their only other fixation to the bullpen was going out and signing Familia.
Yeah.
And
I actually thought it was going to be a good signing as a setup kind of guy situation for them at the time when they brought him back.
Right. He's an all right, solid pitcher, I guess. But when you had the injuries that he had, I don't think you can really come back from that.
You know who's getting traded on the Mets right down the stretch?
I hope everybody gets traded.
Frazier is going to be a nice commodity. Somebody's going to need a third baseman. Someone's going to need a utility guy off the bench. If that's your biggest commodity, you're in big trouble.
The Mets should just blow it up.
Well, yeah, it's tough.
Trade Wheeler, trade Matz, trade Syndergaard.
Syndergaard could be a guy that's going to go.
Yeah.
I don't think Wheeler maybe too.
Well, Wheeler has a year left, so I think they're going to trade him regardless. But Noah's the guy that they could really get a nice haul from because their farm system's not really that good either.
And by the way, a lot of teams in Major League Baseball, including Johnny's Atlanta Braves and including your Yankees, need starting pitching.
Yes.
And nobody has a fabulous bullpen. There's not a bullpen out there that's well, they do, but Atlanta doesn't have a fabulous bullpen. They have a decent bull. So some teams out there, and I don't know much about the Dodgers bullpen if their bullpen is good, but there's going to be some teams that are going to need some help along the way. I'll tell you what, Bruce. Let's take a quick break, and when we get back, we got NBA free agency. Here we go. It's all starting. A lot of rumors back and forth. We got Major League Baseball and the All-Star game. We got a lot to do tonight. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Moe's call-in line at 800-848-WABC. I'm John Friedman. You're listening to Talking Sports. We'll be right back.
What do you think, Marty? Is sponsored by Brown & Brown Metro. They do insurance from homeowners, automotive, workers' compensation, business insurance,
Good opening.
health, casualty, and life insurance. Visit Brown & Brown Metro on the web at bbmetro.com or give them a
Good
call
opening,
at
Chuck.
973-549-1900. Visit Brown & Brown Metro on the web at bbmetro.com or give them a call at 973-549-1900. Brown & Brown Metro is a proud sponsor of What Do You Think, Marty?
Many doctors in the U.S. and Canada have chosen the Back Institute for their own care. Experts in non-traumatic spine surgery. No cutting, no bleeding, no drilling, no scarring. With offices in New York City, Philadelphia, and Beverly Hills, BackInstitute.com offers information about new non-traumatic techniques.
I was just about to say that was a good back and forth.
I can't hear you.
I was just about to say that was a good back and forth.
Yeah, fabulous.
I like it. We're doing NBA now, right?
Yeah.
Back Institute, award-winning spine surgeons and physicians.
This week's luxury Jersey City apartment from the KRE Group is a gorgeous one-bedroom, one-bath apartment home facing north,
How you feeling?
overlooking Jersey City.
How you feeling?
Good. You all right?
Manhattan
Yeah.
skyline at Journal Square. This
How about those things?
652 square foot home, an open concept layout with modern design, stainless steel kitchens, quartz countertops, luxuriously appointed bathrooms, full full-size washer and dryer and unit, central heating, cooling, and much more. Their leasing office is open 7 days a week, and you can reach them at info@journalsquared.com or give them a call at 201-659-7100. Check out KRENJC.com for more details.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so.
Go ahead and set yourself
There
up.
are so many options, from the traditional media to the practically limitless digital and social platforms that are available, making it harder than ever for businesses to get their message in front of the right audience. There is a solution, however, and it's called SCG Advertising and Public Relations. SCG is a full-service advertising and public relations agency that can help you navigate through today's chaotic media landscape
Braves
and
left.
reach your potential customer.
Braves.
Help our clients strengthen their relationships
Not
and
happy.
reputations and
You'll have to
brands
tell us about
by
it.
integrating
Not
your
happy.
message across the entire media spectrum. The folks at SCG understand the options available to advertisers and will work with you to determine the best creative and media plan for your business. So learn more about us by visiting scgadv.com. That's scgadv.com. We'll help you reach your customers, all of them.
Talk Radio 77 WABC. Bernie and Sid in the morning.
And why Jill puts these pictures on when we look like idiots? Jill takes the worst pictures in the world.
Well, I can't change what
No, you can change if somebody's eyes are closed. You know, we're standing underneath a bright light with a wall head. To be honest, that's usually you. I'm tan, I'm on the left. I always look stronger and you're on the left and in the dark. I think that's your good side. It is my good side.
Bernie and Sid in the morning. Weekday morning, 6 to 10. Talk Radio.
You got it. Thank you.
WABC.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Jeff Lax is in the house. Chuck is our call screener and keeps us updated on what's happening in the sports world. And we're honored to have Bruce with us tonight, which is fabulous. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-WABC. Models.com. And also tonight's show is brought to you by my friends over at Fitness 1440, located in Livingston, New Jersey. What a great place. Has anybody noticed I've added about an inch, half inch to my shoulders? I went from a shooting guard to a few weeks ago. I moved to the small forward spot, and now I'm at the power forward spot. So, you know, when you got a guy like me that can dribble, back you in and post you up, and take you off the dribble. Come on. I should be an NBA free agent.
So will the Knicks be offering you a max contract tomorrow?
They should.
Everyone else is getting a max contract. You might as well get one too.
Right.
Jeff Lax, who's a big Mets fan, is in here tonight. How about my Atlanta Braves?
You know, how many years have I suffered because of your Braves? Just add this to a very, very, very long list.
You know, the Braves did something really strange today. They went into a rain delay after Tehran had started the game, and the Mets had I guess, was it? No, Matz was today. Oh, was that when we were going back and forth? Yeah, Matz was the starter. And after the rain delay, obviously they pulled Matz, but the Braves did not pull Tehran. And I was really shocked by that. But, you know, he kind of struggled after that and back and forth or whatever. And how about that Austin Riley?
Another home run.
You know, and the scouting report is out. I mean, he's seeing a lot of sliders, and you can see he struck out a few times along the way lately, but he can get it done. And he took what's his name deep last night, big time.
Was that Luka?
No, he took it off of off the starter. No, last night he took
the other night
off the ace. DeGrom. Yeah, he took him way deep. So kind of thrilled. I might have to go later tonight. I know the Braves stay over at the Grand Hyatt over at the. I might have to go over there and buy them that, or buy them all a beer. They're probably all at the bar, and I have to go over there and have a beer with them over today. So I'm happy about that. They got their 50th win, and you know the Mets. If you're a Mets fan, you're just frustrated. And a lot of it's just bullpen stuff. But they do have some nice pieces. The first baseman's a nice. The right fielder. And guess who had 2 hits today?
McNeil did?
Cano
did, yeah. Wow. That was worth it, that deal.
And Chuck and I, before you got here, were talking about, you said no way they're going to get rid of Diaz because, well, now he doesn't have anything.
That was not working. 5 ERA since last week. But either way, my point last time was he's making so little money. The bullpens don't do stuff like that. They just don't do it.
Well, and listen, You can't tell me the guy doesn't have it. He had 50 saves in the American League last year.
Okay.
Yeah, so it goes, and I don't want. And I was telling Chuck earlier, I don't want to hear about it's a New York thing and he can't handle it. I don't believe that at all. But here's the deal. So now the Mets are starting to, what are they, 10 games out or whatever it is. You know, soon you're going to be able to buy some really good seats over at Citi Field.
Soon.
I mean, yeah. I was thinking about going tomorrow night, but it's a Sunday night game.
The 69 Mets drew more people today than the 2018 Mets.
What a shame, by the way. What a great weekend and yesterday and today. It was honoring the 69 Mets and who beat the Atlanta Braves, by the way, in the first NLCS ever.
Yeah.
So kind of interesting there. And all right, Chuck, so let's talk a little NBA free agency. You know, I was looking at a million articles this week, right? And every CBS.com, ESPN, NBA, Bleacher, everybody's got everybody going to different places. The two things I think we're sure of right now is that Kemba Walker is heading to Boston.
Yes.
You got to feel bad for Charlotte, by the way.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because obviously Boston can't pay him as much as Charlotte can.
Right.
And maybe Charlotte wasn't offering him a max deal. Could be the case. That's one. And it looks like Kyrie's going to sign with the Nets.
Right.
Which for the Nets, I think is real. If he keeps his head together, what a great piece for the Nets to get. Really.
Highly questionable, though.
Well, listen, you're right. He's kind of a whack. But the point is, for them, they need a guy like that.
Let me ask you a question. Is there any chance they keep both guys? They keep Russell and get this guy? No chance.
They already said today that they're going to try to find trade partners.
On a sign and trade?
Yeah. Sign and trade.
Makes sense.
For his sake.
Yeah, where he gets a max.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think listen, I talked to you about this. I don't like max contracts.
No,
they get you in trouble.
They do.
There's a few guys maybe you can give max contracts, and I'm telling you from experience and this is, I can only always give you my own experiences. When Atlanta had Joe Johnson in a max contract, thankfully they were able to get rid of him to Brooklyn. And it actually helped Atlanta. They ended up winning 60 games that next year or whatever. But when you get into max contracts, and some of the guys that they're talking about max contracts are not max guys.
Yeah, like there are rumors that Tobias Harris.
Not a max guy.
Contract. Give me a break.
I'm not even sure, and I hope this doesn't happen for his sake, that the guy that went to Philadelphia, who was in Chicago, who's a really good player. Yeah, don't go to Houston. I don't like that.
Well, now there are reports today that he wants to go to Miami.
Oh, I thought the Clippers.
Miami, who's there?
Clippers.
Well, who's there in Miami?
I don't know.
Is there somebody secret going there? Riley got something going on there we don't know about?
Wade said on Twitter that if Butler comes down to Miami, he would unretire and come back and play for his season.
Well, Wade stinks now.
When Wade retires, he should be a recruiter. He would be a great HR recruiter for that's what he does for a living in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
He's recruiting every year.
He seems like a really good guy,
yeah.
Wade, but that should not be a reason why he's going to go there. But I got to tell you about Butler, and I was impressed with him. I didn't follow him much in Chicago. He's a hardworking guy on both ends of it. And I just think that being with a Harden could be a tough scenario for him. And not to take anything away from James Harden. But, I just can't see that worry. And I feel bad. What does Philadelphia now do? If they lose Tobias Harris, they lose Butler. It's like everything that they did didn't work.
And they're going to lose J.J. Redick.
And they gave up Muscala in that deal.
And they got rid of Sarich. They got rid of Robert Covington. They got their whole team.
That could blow up on them.
It is.
And, when they acquired, and we were at the other place at that time, when they acquired Jimmy Butler, I thought that was for the long term, not a short, even though maybe it was an expiring contract thing. I thought that was for the long term. So I was really surprised that Philadelphia is not, quote unquote, rolling out the red carpet for him. Seriously, I'm really surprised. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we're on the eve of a huge NBA night, right? I mean, this free agency thing starts officially tomorrow, right?
Right.
What are your predictions for the New York team? What's going to happen?
I don't think Durant's coming here.
No.
I don't. I think that they're going to end. First of all, why are they caught up in? Let's just say they don't get a Durant, right? And they don't get a Kyrie. And I know he's looking at me there like that could possibly happen. I don't think that's happening at all. But let's just say that doesn't happen. Why do they feel they have to spend the money? Why do they feel that if they don't have those guys, that they have to bring in somebody just to spend the money? Keep growing organically.
I don't think they're going to waste Durant money on somebody. But I believe what they should do is if they don't get Durant or Kawhi or whoever, they should take teams that want to get rid of contracts, take on cap and get picks out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And,
that's how you win.
And you should agree because your Hawks did the same thing and they're still pretty much doing it.
And can I tell you something? They're not out there, I don't think, in the quote-unquote big free agent market. They're not ready. Just like the Knicks really aren't ready to bring guys in like that.
Aren't the Knicks maybe the one team where Durant actually makes sense? Because you can actually tank it for another year and get another pick.
Well, that's why I'm surprised. That's why I'm surprised that Durant pulled out of his deal.
Right.
He could have collected from Golden State and sat back and watched the landscape of, all right, where am I going to go next year?
He doesn't know for sure he's going to be healthy in a year. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, but
he wants to lock in 5 years.
True, but I'm gonna roll the dice and say that he's going to be back to what he was, and that who knows?
You don't know.
Listen, I mean, you never know with that stuff.
Durant wants to be a Knick, without a doubt.
And we're going to find out if he wants to be a Knick. By the way, if he really wants to be a Knick, he's going to sign the contract.
There was pictures of him in New York City this week, rolling around, enjoying the city.
With what? Is he like on crutches?
He's
I think he is.
He's on that little scooter thing.
Something, right, the scooter.
Yeah, so he's rolling around the hard streets of New York City, and I think he's going to sign with the Knicks.
Well, then if that's the case, by the way, and the Knicks have room for 2 max guys, you don't have to sign the other max guy.
No,
Bring in Durant, let these kids develop, and then you go from there.
And there
Then you go from there.
By the
So
way, how many times can the Knicks be burned? I mean, LeBron did this to them basically twice. I mean, they've been burnt so many times. If this happens to them again, they're going to be they're already a laughing stock.
well, but when LeBron was coming, who'd they have?
Same thing as they have now, nothing.
Yeah. So, and did you read that? What's the guy? What's his name? Might be going to the Lakers, who played for the Knicks, in Denver. What's his name? Carmelo might be signing with the Lakers.
Well, I have on a Carmelo shirt right now.
Oh, you do?
I believe they're going to sign Carmelo the Knicks.
No. And that would be by the way, that'd be a reason not to, if I'm a Durant or anybody else, to come to the Knicks. I mean, that would just not be a smart, move right there at all. So coming up after the 11 o'clock hour, Steve Hofstetter, a really well-known comedian, a ton of followers on YouTube and subscribers on YouTube and on Twitter. Really funny guy. He's one of these comedians that has kind of like a dry sense of humor in some ways. And I love that a big part of his shtick, if you go on YouTube, is the people that bother him during shows, hecklers, and how he handles them. It's really, really funny. And him and I have something in common. Well, him more than he's a gingy.
Yeah.
He's a ginger. He's got red hair, and we both have been divorced.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to get into that because I got a good rapid fire for him in regards to divorced and women and all that thing. So I hope he's ready for that. And anyway, looks like we got a caller on hold. Hey, Bruce, do I got time for a quick call? We do. Let's go to Alex in Manhattan. You're on Talking Sports on a Saturday evening. Welcome to the Gotta Go to Mo's calling line.
Hey, John, great show. Always love listening to you.
Thank you. What's happening?
So, look, I have a question. Really not a question, but a comment. I watched 2 games today.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the Yankees, Red Sox, and I watched the Braves Nets. And the state of starting pitching is in this league. I mean, I know I'm generalizing, but the state of starting pitching is really not good. And I just think that, if Yankee fans think that just because they hit 29, 30, however many home runs in a row, that's going to make a difference when they go against 2 aces, versus the Astros maybe in the playoffs. They got another thing coming because it's going to be all about starting pitching. And,
It always is, right?
He's right.
And the teams that have 2 aces, have a great shot in a best of 5, a best of 7 series. Unfortunately, the Braves pitcher, Tehran, is not a top flight pitcher. And,
What's his ERA? Doesn't he have an ERA in the 3s, Tehran?
He's not bad. He's not terrible.
but can you really ever get past? He pitched 3 in the 3rd inning. I mean, that's
I was surprised that Atlanta brought him back today after the rain delay. It was a little weird, kind of weird. You know, and stay with us, Alex. You know, there's like, I don't know, like 20 teams where guys are on pace on teams to hit over 20 home runs.
Yeah.
The amount of home runs in Major League Baseball right now, it's like everybody's playing in Colorado.
Yep.
It's crazy, or there's something going on with the balls or whatever it is. So, and that's exactly what you're talking about. The starting pitching in both leagues is not fabulous, and the bullpens in both leagues are not fabulous right now. So I guess we'll see what that brings in the dog days of July and August, and go from there.
Did you hear, John, that game today in London was the third longest 9-inning game in history?
Really?
Third longest.
Oh, they must have loved that in London.
Yeah, right? 17-13?
All right, Alex, thank you so much for the call. Thanks for hanging in there. Thank you. You got it. All right, Bruce, looks like we're going to take a quick break. I believe I was supposed to hit at 58. You got it. All right, you're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Jeff Lax is in the house. Charles is in the house. We got a lot more to do. We still got Major League Baseball. We got NBA. A lot of news out there. And how about the Michigan Wolverines taking Vanderbilt to a Game 3 in the College World Series this week? You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening. I'm John Friedman. We'll be right back.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not
You said
impossible
58,
time
right?
figuring out how
I
to
might
do
have messed
so.
that up.
There
Sorry.
are so many
Okay, good.
options, from the traditional media to the practically limitless digital and
All
social
right.
platforms that
How you doing? How was your
make it
Shabbat?
harder than ever for businesses to get their message in
Really?
front
You
of
were
the right
sick
audience.
last time.
You
There
could
is
tell,
a
right?
solution, however, and
The
it's
opening was
called
fat. Did you hear the opening, Chuck and I?
SCG
Oh, you did?
Public
Sounded
Relations.
good?
Yeah.
SCG
A lot of
is
energy.
full-service advertising.
Yeah,
and public
it
relations
really took
Exactly
me.
what
Oh, you didn't
you
hear
said.
the opening with the virus I had and
Yeah.
the Mets bullpen as a
That's
virus?
true.
We help our clients strengthen their relationships, reputations, and brands by
I went
integrating
crazy
your
on
message
Twitter. I
across
sent
the
out a
entire
tweet
media
today.
spectrum.
It got
The
retweeted
folks
by
at
4
SCG
people.
understand the options
The show.
available to
Oh, I didn't see that.
advertisers
Yeah.
and work with
On
you
time.
to determine the
Right
best
now.
creative
Retweet.
and media plan
Yeah,
for
I'll
your
do it
business.
right now.
So learn more about us by visiting
That's great. That's a start. Grassroots.
Grassroots. I had like, but when I got here, I had like 800 impressions, which is a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
One guy tweeted, it's that Rich Kubat guy, which I don't
I
know.
don't know who that is.
Well, he has a lot of followers.
Yeah.
You know, 2,000
You
some odd
thought it was Dino.
followers.
You thought that was Dino.
Right, but he no show, and he opens up the thing saying, very much like the Dino Company.
No, he's not.
Just look at it.
That's his business.
But why would this guy have all these followers? And he's a wrestling guy, and he's a big fan of Georgia Bull. Look at it.
Studios. We are Talk Radio 77. WABC, New York. Cable station.
$12 million. That's like,
Oh, the station.
that means that your revenue stunk. Stunk.
Osaka, Japan's G20 summit has wrapped up. The U.S. and China have agreed to restart trade talks. President Trump offered concessions, including no new tariffs and an easing of restrictions on the Chinese tech company Huawei. China agreed to make unspecified purchases of U.S. farm products. And as Trump invited North Korean
What time is
dictator
that
Kim
calling in?
Jong-un
Right
to
now, I
shake
see him now.
hands at the demilitarized zone, he gave a backhand slap to his predecessor.
Somebody like President Obama, for instance, my opponent in the last election, had it worked that way, I honestly believe you would have been at war with North Korea. I've said it loud and I've said it clear.
Even if it is just as simple as a 2-minute meeting, a handshake, perhaps President Trump making history by being the first sitting U.S. president to step across the military demarcation line onto North Korean territory. Just to do that, there are going to have to be hours of meetings going very late into the night here on the Korean Peninsula.
Correspondent Will Ripley. A storm system near Dallas has drifted south and is drenching an area that includes Waco. And it's been a scorcher in the southwest and midwest. Meteorologist Allison Chinchar reports Europe is sweltering too.
France actually broke their all-time record for any month, but the previous record prior to that was actually in July, meaning it is a little bit more normal to have some of these temperatures reach these extreme temperatures in July, maybe even August, but not this early.
President Trump says he still plans a series of immigration and customs enforcement raids starting in about a week.
Democratic presidential candidate Julian Castro says Trump's just playing political games.
The president is obviously using this as a political stunt. And you can tell that because he announced he was going to do it, and then he pulled back and said that he's not.
In Clint, Texas, Castro and some other lawmakers were denied a tour of a facility where immigrant children are being held. I'm Evan Haining.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. Right now, get your first month supply for free. All you pay is just $5 for your medical consultation when you go to 4hims.com/able. After that, it's just $30 for a month's supply. Sure beats paying big bucks for just one blue pill, doesn't it? Plus, you won't need an awkward in-person doctor's appointment to get the prescription. Hims has doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. It's affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/able. That's 4hims.com/able.
Feel free to chime in on this, all right?
For just $5.
This interview.
4hims.com.
Because I mean, it's going to be. Huh?
If I'm talking too much, just tell me.
No.
WABC Radio. It's Saturday evening. Time for Talking Sports. Here's your host, Jonathan Friedman.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening, Sunday morning with me, John Friedman. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. That's 800-848-9222. Models.com. All right, Chuck, why don't you get us updated on scores and finals around Major League Baseball and other sports news?
All right, Johnny. So currently going on, we got the Brewers up 3-1 over the Pirates at the top of the ninth. Mariners and Astros are tied at 5 in the bottom of the seventh. Diamondbacks and Giants are scoreless in the bottom of the third. A's and Angels are scoreless in the top of the fourth. Padres are beating the Cardinals 7-1 in the bottom of the second. Earlier today, Aaron Judge threw for 2 touchdowns, and the Yankees beat the Red Sox 17-13. The Orioles blanked the Indians 13-0. Blue Jays over the Royals 7-5. Your Braves over the Mets 5-4.
Do we love to bitch slap the Mets or what? I mean, like it doesn't end. It just never ends.
Johnny, also, the Braves are currently up 13 games on the Mets. 13, 1-3.
That's beautiful.
Back to the scores. The Rays beat the Rangers 5-2. Tigers over the Nationals 7-5. Cubs shut out the Reds 6-0. Marlins beat the Phillies 9-6. Twins over the White Sox 10-3. And the Rockies just beat the Dodgers 5-3.
All right. And didn't you tell me there's some NHL news today?
Yes. Pittsburgh forward Phil Kessel has been traded to the West. He will be joining the Arizona Coyotes in a deal that included Alex Galchenyuk and a prospect.
How about that? All right. Some little hockey news out there. This show gives you hockey in July.
Always.
All right. Want to welcome to the show on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line is Steve Hofstetter. He's one of the well-known comedians out there, has followers on YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. He travels everywhere. They call him the hardest working guy in showbiz. Steve, welcome to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, although I take exception to the idea that the Mets losing is fun.
Me too.
Not I actually only watched the first 6 innings of the game, so as far as I know, they are in first place.
Because they never lose. They're always winning by the 6th.
That first 6 innings, those are real good. I don't know if you've seen them. They're real good. There's I think my TV always shuts off before the 9th. So.
Oh, so there are no bullpen issues in your world, right?
Yeah, everything worked out. You know, they traded for Diaz. There's nobody deep below a save. You know, I mean, Familia, hell, he was, you know, one of the better closers in franchise history just a couple of years ago. I'm sure he's at peak form. So I'm sure everything's just fine. Please don't tell me otherwise. Or I'll be very sad.
Oh, I won't do that. So, Steve, I know you live out in Los Angeles, and I'm assuming that's where you're coming to us from. You're a New York guy, right? Where are you from?
I am. Born and raised in Queens. I'm actually going to be back that way soon. I'm at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut in 2 weeks. And, you know, I try to come back east whenever I can. Big New York sports fan. I have a bit of a weird mix of teams.
Well, don't share those yet, and I'm going to tell you why. Because at the end of this interview, where you and I are going to play a little rapid fire. So I have a few of those questions. So save those. I'm sorry to do that to you. So I'm reading your resume here, and I have to tell you, it's impressive. I mean, I'm not going to read this whole list that I took off your website, but how do you get involved in so many things from CBS late night to you have books out there. You're involved with Major League Baseball. You've been on the MLB Network a few times. I've seen you. You just get out there. Is Russell working hard for you? I mean, you're everywhere.
Well, whoever made up the stuff on that resume did a fine job. I mean, it's really just, it's a piecemeal career. That's kind of how it works for comedy now. Gone are the days that you could do a 10-minute radio call-in in the morning and then sell out the whole week. You kind of have to reach people everywhere. It's a very fragmented audience now. And so, you do a lot of different stuff. Also, I was a sports guy. I started out as a sports writer. That's what I intended to do. And then I kind of realized very quickly that it's hard to do that and stay a fan. And I wanted to keep that. And so every bit of sports work I've done since then has been with not that much access purposefully. Even when I wrote a column for Sports Illustrated, that entire year I could set foot in a locker room because I wanted to write it from the perspective of a fan.
No cheering in the press box.
No cheering. The first game I covered, I was 17 years old. I wasn't even supposed to be old enough to get a credential. And I covered a Knicks game, and it was Christopher Reeve's first public appearance after he got paralyzed.
Wow.
So this is Superman coming back from the brink, and the entire MSG stands up and applauds, and I was the only one in the press box applauding. And right then I was like, this is a pro.
Wow. And by the way, a graduate of Columbia, a smart guy here, a graduate of Columbia University. He was a columnist for their daily. He's written for Maxim, ESPN, Sports Illustrated. I mean, and I love watching. And they say he looks like, I guess, the other comedian, Michael Rappaport. Kind of. I think so. Well, it's funny. You're talking to a guy who's a Jewish guy who's actually born and raised in Atlanta. But you and I, we both have. I used to have red hair. I got divorced and it became gray. No, she did. She tried, but that's not the one thing that I would give into. So if you go on YouTube and you watch Steve's stuff, which is fabulous, one of the greatest things I love, and you focus on it a lot, is being heckled. And I was watching some hecklers the other day, and the way you handle that, you come back with them with dry humor, and I think it's just fabulous. But what I question is, I had two things. Is one, what's the worst heckler you've ever had to deal with? And two, I wonder when these people heckle you over something you said, like, do they realize they're at a comedy thing to let their belt loose a little bit? And because some of the hecklers that you get, it's like, are you stupid?
First of all, yes, they are. For you to go see art and be like, I'm the art, like that, you're a dummy. It's the same type of people who are like, I'm going to run on the field and everyone's going to love that. It's like, no, you're going to delay the game and everybody's going to hate that. Like, they can't think a step ahead of what they're doing. And there are people sometimes, because my heckler stuff has gone viral, I've had people like, they'll message me and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to come see you in Connecticut and I'm going to heckle. And I'll write back and I'll be like, don't, I'll throw you out and I won't hear the clip. And then they're like,
and you've had times where you've thrown them out or have had them thrown out. No, and by the way, you're patient with it, by the way. I saw you in an Atlanta one. I saw you in Atlanta. The guy was talking about the Georgia Bulldogs, yada, yada, yada. And you were just patient. You were really patient.
I ended his relationship. Well, I mean, in fairness, he ended his relationship.
Right.
A little push down the hill. But I think that part of the key is to be as patient as possible. The only times I'm ever like, okay, you have to go, is when I realize that they're not learning their lesson at all.
Right.
Because most of the time, someone fires at you and you fire back, and then they're like, oh, I don't have this kind of artillery. But every now and then, they're just like, who cares if they're firing me? I have this dull butter knife. And, then that's when you just go, okay, this person has to be removed because there's no winning this.
And
they don't know that, they don't even know that there's a fight, let alone that they've lost.
And that's where the stupidness comes in. And the other one I saw was a woman arguing about having 20 babies. And how
The craziest part of that clip was and we filmed 2 shows. We knew we had enough, and so this one I was super calm because you're a little nervous going in, and you get what you need. And,
Yeah.
And and this is at the end. We're literally the only reason I'm taking questions at this point is because we needed to kill time while they're signing releases. Like while the people who were featured are going and signing releases, my buddy Danny Giles, who opened for me, was like, "Hey, Steve's really quick on his feet, so why doesn't he come up here and you guys can ask him whatever questions you want?" And then this one woman was so mad, and I was like, first of all, how are you in the front row of my son? Like, second of all, how is it that you had the manners to wait until after it was done being filmed, but still not the manners to, shut up with your grievances and just deal with it? So it was, that one was a really weird circumstance. Crazy.
All right, let's play. Let's. And you see, Steve, he's coming to the East Coast. Actually, it looks like next week he'll be at the Stress Factory. That's where I need to go.
Isn't that City Field? He's going to a Mets game?
That is the Stress Emporium.
Oh, okay.
Slightly different.
Okay.
He'll be at the Stress Factory July 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. That should be a lot of fun. Do you stay on the East Coast when you do that, or you head right back over to LA?
On this one, I'm going to head right back. Last time I was in town, I did 10 days just kind of bopping around New York, New Jersey. But on this one, I picked up this gig after I already had stuff on the West Coast. But on my way there, in between now and then, I'm going to the All-Star game for the first time.
Nice. Oh, that's wonderful.
That's awesome.
That's in what, Cleveland, right?
Yeah, and I get to see Pete Alonso ruin his home run swing as anybody in the Derby does.
Right. After that thing, it's always you watch the numbers after that. And if I was a team, if I'm certainly a team in the pennant race, I'm not letting guys do that.
Yeah, but luckily enough,
It's rarely an issue for us.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, I'm just curious, Steve. I like to ask. I used to do a little stand-up. John's aired some of my prank calls on the air. I'm always curious to ask comedians what their process is. How do you work, and especially since you have a sports background, do you work that in, and how do you process? How do you process your material?
There are sports references peppered throughout my act. I actually used to do a joke about the idea of you can't really go too far into sports because a hockey fan won't get a basketball joke,
right.
A basketball fan won't get a NASCAR joke, a NASCAR fan won't get anything. So it's difficult. But I here and there, when I did, I used to do a joke about addiction, and I made a Daryl Strawberry reference. And, that was one where it's you didn't need to get the reference to get the joke, but if you did, it made it funny.
Right.
Daryl Strawberry. So, Steve, let's play a little rapid fire here. And I wrote some questions down, and just based on some things that you and I or whatever have in common, please don't get offended by any of them because I laugh at myself all the time. So, all right, here we go. Your favorite Jewish holiday?
I don't really have one anymore.
Okay, that's a good answer.
You know what? My favorite Jewish holiday is Rosh Hashanah because then my family's busy.
New York or Los Angeles?
It depends on for what. For weather, Los Angeles. For bagels or pizza, New York.
Got it. Although a kosher guy like me, I get over that pico section over there, and man, I'm in food heaven.
Yeah, there's definitely the way it works is New York has better cheap and expensive food, and LA has better middle ground.
I love when I have to go out there for a client and get to eat at every little place in Pico. All right, you ready? This is a good one. Single or single after divorce?
Single after divorce.
Single after divorce. All right.
By the way, I love that you just assume no one's dating this idiot.
No, well, I'm sorry. I don't want to. If you have a girlfriend, I'm sorry if I've offended her.
Put girlfriend as a choice. Now, granted, it's not what's happening now. But I love that you were like, no, there's no way.
No, not at all. Matter of fact, look what I just did for you. You know how many girls right now in New York are like, he's single. Yeah. He's not dating anybody.
Girls sitting home on a Sunday night listening to sports radio. They're like, he's single.
We gotta call the Stress Factory. See how many calls I got after our set tonight. After our piece.
Well,
exactly.
Well,
every girl in New York calls the Stress Factory being like, I'm going to Bridgeport next week. That's what I'm doing.
I gotta heckle this guy. Make him think I really care.
All right, so I'm glad we led into this next one. East Coast divorcees versus West Coast divorcees?
It's hard to choose. I actually really like divorced people. For the most part, yeah, I find I get along with them because they've learned that life is not a fairy tale, and they've also learned that there's nothing wrong with that. And that is a lesson that people need to be taught when they're children.
Good for you.
By the way, and I agree with you there, by the way, that and I'm not was never a blind date kind of guy, but when a divorced guy is talking to a divorced woman, it's like you can let your armor down a little bit. You know what I mean? It's different. It's not as stuffy.
Swiping, right? Swipe right.
Be like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can be set up with someone I've never met, never seen, who I may have nothing in common with, or I can swipe through every hot woman within a 20-mile radius.
I went actually on one blind date my whole life, and I was like 16, 17 years old, and I took her to an Atlanta Braves game to Fulton County Stadium. You know what I did in the middle of that blind date? I had to go to the bathroom, and I never came back.
Wow.
I had to. It was so bad. I couldn't even get her home or whatever. I figured, she'll figure out public. Especially back in the Fulton County. This is before the run, by the way. This is in the 80s. So you can understand.
The Dale Murphy years. So he was the only player.
Like, she ended up, and that's Mrs. Dale Murphy.
All right, my last one was, and you kind of touched on this, but I don't know if we got what was your the worst heckler ever?
So my worst heckler ever was, oh man, I can't tell the story on broadcast.
Well, just don't curse.
The first one, the one that made me like realize what this was there was a guy he was in Detroit, and this guy was upset. I had done a non-partisan political joke. I had done a joke. The basic joke is that we spend so much security for the Democratic and Republican national conventions, which is a little crazy that we spend that much money on the people that we would most like to see killed by terrorists. It's a dark joke.
That's very dark.
But this guy got really pissed. He was upset. He was like, this isn't a political rally. And it was really stupid, and I was trying to look for something to say to this guy, anything. And he was quiet for like a minute and a half. This guy was not answering any questions. He was giving me nothing. And finally he said that he was upset because I wasn't being very nice. And without even thinking, I just started laughing. And I just go, well, the way this works is I'm going to say a lot of things. You're not going to like all of them. And I'm not going to give a bleep. And when I said that, the crowd erupted in applause. And I had this moment where I realized, they hate him more than I do.
Am I able to see that on YouTube? I hope so. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that's great. I only have it on a high 8 cassette tape. I have to get transferred at some point. But I do have it.
I would love to see that, especially because you don't. Actually, I just find you have a way about hecklers that is very unique. It's a talent, and I have seen where you said, okay, that's enough. That's enough, and it certainly when it gets to that point. It obviously is enough. All right, Steve Hofstetter has been our guest here, and you can see him at the Stress Factory in Connecticut, in Bridgeport, Connecticut. What a nice place to go. But you can also get some High in there if you want, Steve, while you're there. July 11th, 12th, and 13th. So, Steve, thank you so much for talking sports with us on a Saturday evening here in New York City, and we'd love to have you back, especially in studio when you're back in New York, especially maybe around baseball in the fall time. Where Johnny's, and I'll teach you the tomahawk chop when you come up here.
As a Mets fan, I already know the tomahawk chop because we do it sarcastically whenever we do it right. But that said, I am happy to come back in as soon as the baseball season starts again next year.
That'd be great. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad you were able to get, and enjoy your time in Los Angeles. And when you get to Connecticut, and head over to Pico for me, will you?
Absolutely.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. You got it. All right. That was Steve Hofstetter of one of the really fine young comedians out there. You can see him on YouTube, Twitter, wherever you can get him. All right, Bruce, let's take a quick break. And when we get back, we got more NBA free agency. We got Major League Baseball. I want to talk a little bit about the All-Star game. The Boston Celtics hired a women's coach as an assistant coach. We'll talk about that. We got a lot more to do. You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give me a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. We'll be right back. I thought he'd be funnier.
It was not funny.
77
He wasn't
I thought
funny.
he'd be funnier.
It wasn't funny at all. Surprising.
I tried.
I know.
Many doctors in the
Sometimes
U.S. and
it's
Canada
fine.
have
It's
chosen the
fine.
Back Institute for their own care. Experts in non-traumatic spine surgery.
Morning calling in?
Nice. I told you, next week.
Still.
Yeah, we went for Israel and then into Greece. That's a wealthy guy.
Non-traumatic techniques. Visit Back Institute
Yeah,
online
you
at
can tell us now you're who's dry.
Yeah. He wasn't even trying to be funny.
I tried. I was beginning.
He wasn't trying.
That's a lie, by the way. The divorce.
What?
It was not.
Yeah.
This week's luxury Jersey City apartment from the KRE Group is a gorgeous 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment home facing south and east with a magnificent view of the Statue of Liberty and Manhattan skyline at Journal Square. This 1,071
Are you doing
square
this
foot
guy a
home
favor or you
features
like
an
having
open
these meetings
concept
on?
layout
I'm
with
gonna tell you a story
modern
about
design,
Russell Bass. This guy
stainless
hired
steel
me. He's gonna be
kitchens,
my
quartz
agent.
countertops,
It's a long story. I'll tell
luxuriously
you that.
appointed bathrooms, full-sized washer and dryer unit, central heating.
Hey, I need my plug back.
Much more. Their leasing office is open 7 days a week, and you can reach them at info.
You almost done my plug, Chuck?
Or give them a call at
No, an iPhone. You have iPhone? No, not that.
Check out KRENJC.com for more details.
From the 77 WABC News Desk, I'm Deborah Valentine.
Gotta have some experience.
It's all about insulting. It's all about getting guttural.
Nothing to lose. You can
Do you need it? You're charged?
Yeah.
Oh, not this.
New York fashion. I like them initially.
What's up, brother? I'm like, why are you doing What's your size? I'm all good. I'm all healthy. Yeah.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-WABC. That's 800-848-9222. Models.com. You know what? Speaking of Models, hey, Bruce, could you hit the Models music? Say big every week at Models. Visit your local store for special unadvertised deals. Shop all kinds of styles from brands you love like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Champion, Unipro, and much more. Are you an athlete gearing up for the season? We've got you covered for every sport. Whether it's your first time playing or you're a seasoned veteran, Models is the place to go. But wait, what about professional sports? Don't worry, we've got you covered there too. Whether you're the casual or diehard sports fan, we got jerseys, tees, hats, and much more. Models, you gotta go to Mo's. Jeff, where you gotta go?
I've never practiced this. You gotta go to Mo's.
There you go.
Good, right?
No, pretty good. Where's Chuck? Chuck?
Gotta go to Mo's.
Bruce? There you go. Boy, I give Mitch Modell a lot in here, don't I?
You got a good voice for that, though. I can't do
I've
that.
done a lot of voiceover work. Yeah, I've done a lot of voiceover work. I love to do voiceover work. So, matter of fact, back in the day, Bruce is going to remember this. Chuck, you're too young. You remember Martin Paints, right?
Yeah.
Martin Home Decorating Paint.
Yeah.
Well, I by day I'm an advertising guy, as we all know, and when a guy named Izzy Ashkenazi, who you may have heard of, a guy from from the Five Towns, had bought Martin Paints out of bankruptcy. They went bankrupt in the 90s. And this is after I did all the Modell stuff. They reached out to me and what have you. And the long story short is they never came out of bankruptcy and what have you. But a great jingle that was, right? Martin Home Decorating Centers. So I was doing their voiceovers.
Wow.
In the donuts for, when we did that to save them some money and what have you. I'd be driving and listening like to the Fan or other radio stations, and here I come on with the Martin Paint stuff,
Cool.
So that was a lot of fun, but I only get to do it once in a while. So, but I do enjoy, and I'm also the on-hold guy. If you call Ocean County College and you put on the hold,
I'm going to do that.
You'll hear my voice come over on the.
Yeah, what I would do for your voice, John, I squeak. My voice squeaks when I get it like animated. You have the solid radio. I would do anything for your voice.
People in business that I've dealt with, that whether it's a newspaper or a radio station, I'll never see the rep ever before. When they finally do meet me, they're like, wait a minute. I thought you're like 6'5", 305.
Right.
Not 5'9", 160.
Right.
So it's just kind of funny. For some reason, I was gifted with a deep voice.
You got a good voice.
I could have been like I guess I always liked, what was that singer's name? Can't get enough of your love, babe. What's that guy's name?
That's not
No, who sings that?
Oh, White.
Yeah, Barry White.
Yeah.
What a voice. Bruce, is that not a deep voice or what? That's as deep as it gets. Yeah, that's just as deep as it gets. So anyway, so did you see this week, by the way, maybe this is a trend in the NBA, that the Celtics this week hired Kara Lawson. She's the fourth woman to go onto an NBA coaching staff. In 2014, no NBA team had ever had a full-time paid female on its staff. Before long, NBA coaches staff women. Well, I really screwed that up. Lawson, who started at Tennessee and spent 12 years at the WNBA, follows the footsteps of San Antonio's Becky Hammon, Cleveland's Lindsey Gottlieb, and Dallas's Jenny Bosick. 38, Lawson spent the last 3 years as a TV analyst for the Washington Wizards, in addition to ESPN, and has been coaching with the newly created USA basketball 3-on-3 teams, which will compete in the 2020 Olympics.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
I just want to say that Francesa got into a lot of trouble for that. Do you remember he made those comments a couple of years ago that women could never be head coaches of men's professional franchise? What do you think of that? I'm not. Do I want to touch that? Is it a locker room thing? I guess it's not a locker room thing. I could see, by the way, as a first, I could see Becky Hammon becoming. I love Becky.
Or maybe starting off as a D League or G League coach. Right. She'll get in your face. Right. She doesn't have a problem getting in your face. Right. So listen, we're going that way. And did you see, we almost had a woman president.
Yeah.
So
I don't think the country's opposed to that at all. There's a lot of trainers now. I noticed today some of the highlights. Marcus Stroman got hurt in the Toronto game, and the trainer was a female. And there's so many of them now. And I'm glad it's about time people start getting used to that.
My niece was a trainer of the University of Georgia Bulldogs football team.
Wow.
She'd run out there, and she just wasn't running out there with the water bottle.
Nice.
She'd run out there and deal with injuries and stuff.
I can't wait for the day we have a female head coach in one of these leagues.
Now, this is interesting. Did you guys see this? That New Jersey takes over $318 million sports bets, more than Nevada did this year.
Wow.
That's crazy. That the minute that Jersey was allowed to do this, that they're just going crazy with it. And it's, there's a lot of sports that go on around here. And the New York government politicians are really upset about it because it's New York guys coming over to Jersey on their phones or however they're able to do it. And they lost a lot of revenue not voting this in.
Well, New Yorkers are idiots because
all of a sudden Jersey are brilliant.
For doing that, yes. For doing that because they're taking all the business from New York. Instead of charging us for a speeding ticket when I'm going 26 miles per hour, legalize sports betting. I'll be happier.
Now, didn't New York legalize marijuana or getting very, very close to legalizing marijuana? It got shut down. Yeah. As in like a continuation until they do more due diligence? Because that's what New Jersey's deal is. That's New Jersey's deal right now, is they didn't kibosh it. They just wanted to get a little more due diligence. And I saw Illinois, going to have to take a trip to Chicago to see a Cubs game, that they just legalized that.
Yeah, a lot of states are doing that.
So, it's coming. And, I guess free agents or Denver Broncos guys, do they get to smoke marijuana? I never knew the answer to that. No. Because that's legal in Colorado.
Right. Well, it still violates the drug policy, though. All these it violates you can't take Ritalin, for example. Even if you're prescribed Ritalin, I think you have to get a special exemption. I think you have to ask permission.
Well, who wouldn't want Ritalin so they can sit in the meeting rooms and concentrate?
If you have severe ADD, I could see somebody being on one of those types of drugs.
A little football news. Did you see where the Kansas City radio host Kevin Keitzman was talking about Andy Reid and that he has trouble disciplining players and that kind of stuff, and then went as far as to talk about, and he couldn't even keep his own kid out of trouble who ended up dying from an overdose.
That's low.
Very low. That's really low. Radio guys, we like to, we like to get it out there or talk or whatever, but there's certain things you don't want to go, this is someone's death. And for something with a drug issue, that's someone's service. That's someone's, that's something that, trust me, Andy Reid dealt with it, but a lot of times you can't deal with it. It's on that person, and sad, and you just don't need to go there as a comparison of him not being able to discipline players or that kind of thing. And Chuck, did you see this? Your New York Jets. Did you know you have a guy from the rugby from Aussie who is trying to make the team?
Of course I did.
I wonder if he's got a chance. Or they make it sound like he's a good chance to make the practice squad.
As what, a place kicker?
No, as a running back.
A running back?
Kick returner? Punt returner?
They want to use him in the slot as a wide receiver.
Wow.
And I watched some video on him. He looks pretty decent, to be honest.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was sick a few weeks ago and I came home from seeing my kids on Father's Day, I turned on Channel 2. I don't know if you guys saw this. I channel 2. And they had the United States Rugby Professional Championship game against San Diego and Seattle. And I'm watching this. It was intriguing. You ever watched and first of all, it was in San Diego and it was packed. The stadium was packed. I never knew about this league. I don't even know. Maybe New York has the team. I don't even know. But you ever seen the beginning of like when the ball is put on the ground and they're all, is that what they call it? I'm trying to figure out what they're doing. You can't see the ball. And then somebody told me today that you kick the ball out of there or something. Or I don't understand the game, but man, these guys don't wear pads and stuff. These guys are tough guys.
Right. It's like the NFL 1939.
Yeah.
A little bit, right?
Because they had the leather helmets and stuff.
Right.
So kind of crazy. Hey, give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-9222. And now I got another question for you now, Chuck, and you might be a little young for this, and this is for you too, Jeff. So a buddy of mine, my buddy Peter today, was telling me today that he's a guy in his 60s, and he's a big Yankees fan, and knows a lot of history about Yankees. And he went to the game on Wednesday, and it was poster day. You get a poster.
Right.
And not only that day was poster day, but they had around the season, they always honor whether it's old players. He says Joe DiMaggio is not on this poster as one of the great players and has not been on other stuff that the Yankees have given away that honors former great monument players.
So why is that?
I don't know. So if a caller or someone out there knows, I'd like to know, is there a relation issue that ended with Joe DiMaggio at one time? He couldn't figure this out.
Was he one of those? I know Yogi had an issue where he didn't go back for a long time to Yankee Stadium, but I don't think DiMaggio had that.
I don't have the poster in front of you, but I can tell you this: I bet you Yogi's on that poster.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
And then I said, "No, well, Joe DiMaggio's in Monument Park, right? He's out. Of course he is.
Of course he is.
Joe DiMaggio?
Yeah.
Oh, and they had Don Mattingly on. I went Don Mattingly.
You know what? I almost wonder whether, because it definitely wasn't true during the George Steinbrenner era. I wonder if this started post-George, because this definitely was not the case. I never heard of this during the George era.
Crazy. Anyway, all right, let's go to the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line. Let's go to Dave in Franklin Square. Dave, you're on Talking Sports on a Saturday evening. Thank you.
I think New Jersey has the right idea. Let their bettors get stoned before they make this.
That's good.
Yeah.
Really, it's amazing. But again, with all the bashing, and I'm a lifelong Yankee fan. Let me tell you, their pitchers know how to back up third base better than anybody else. Because, like I said, they're always in that position where they're backing up bases. It's amazing. It really is They really should put a tent over that circus out there at Citi Field. They really should. So.
I don't know what's going on over there. You talking? I opened the show today talking about. I think their bullpen just has a virus that won't go away.
Well, let me ask you a question. When next year, when Brody goes to the Wilpons and says, "All right, we're going to redo the bullpen," how much money is he going to get from the Wilpons?
Not a lot. Yeah, I read. It's funny. I read somewhere over the weekend, John, because we were talking about this last week. Why did Brody take this job to begin with? If he knew he was going to be dealing with all this Saris, that we always talk about Saris, and I read somewhere that he was making $25 million a year as an agent, and he's making 10 for a 4-year contract with the Mets. So I ask again, why on earth would you do this?
And what happened to the guys that were under contract? Like Syndergaard is a client of his.
Yeah.
They're not his agent,
They have
obviously.
to set up a wall, basically like a Chinese wall, they call it, where he can't really have any negotiation with his former with DeGrom. DeGrom was his client, and he wasn't involved really with that negotiation. I understand, I believe.
Hey, Dave, I have a question for you. I don't know if you heard on hold this whole Joe DiMaggio thing I brought up.
That might be part of his estate that he just wanted to be remembered when he was living.
Really?
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I remember him as Mr. Coffee, believe it or not. You know, the spokesman for Mr. Coffee.
Right, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I just think maybe he, he wanted to, when he passed, he probably just wanted to be remembered for, what he did.
Wow, well, that's interesting because that would explain why he went back for Alzheimer's Day, but then when he was gone, stopped.
Well, that was the buffet he went back for. Only kidding. So,
And then had a cup of coffee with it.
last Sunday, Tim Kirkin brought up one of the most revealing things I've ever heard. That no longer is the first pitch the most important pitch in a series. Obviously, pitcher against batter. It's because of the aggressiveness of the batters and the fact that the ball is super round, super tight as far as the home runs and stuff like that. That if you're going to lay out a fastball on your first pitch, there's a good chance that ball is going to be driven up quite some distance. That the most important pitch is your third pitch now. As long as you can get that third pitch and you've got a 1-1 count, that is the deciding pitch.
So you're saying that guys are sitting on that first pitch knowing it's a fastball that's coming. Yeah. Interesting.
This is the best call you've had since I've been here, John. Very interesting. I don't think I agree, but that's a very interesting point, though.
Well, I wonder. I bet you there's a lot of first pitch home runs being hit.
First pitch. You gotta get that strike. You gotta get the first strike. So a lot of batters still take the first pitch no matter what. A lot of guys still do that, even still.
Yep, and there's another small point is when a fan or somebody in the stands gets hit with a ball, why do they need to identify the batter? He didn't do that person.
Because the batter is distraught. It's a huge story. The few times that's happened recently, the batter is like devastated. Who that happened to recently? He was practically he was actually in tears.
Well, I'm thinking about the Bellinger one, but I know who you're talking.
There was another one where the guy was actually in tears, and I forget who it was. I'm blanking.
In tears?
In tears.
There's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball unless you cause an injury to a fan.
Oh, right. Yes,
That's why. You see what Citi Field did with the fences all around? I hate it.
Did they put netting around?
All around.
They don't have a choice. What are they supposed to do?
I agree, but I hate it. I hate it.
No, my point being is, why should that player's name? Obviously, he didn't do it on purpose.
Right. He's not in trouble. They want to make him. They want to humanize the guy. They want to make it seem like the opposite, Dave. I totally disagree because I think they want to make it seem like this guy feels terrible. They didn't do it on. See how my voice.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, he felt terrible. I remember watching it. It was terrible. Yeah.
Hey, remember when Dave Winfield killed that bird?
In Toronto.
Right? You want to see the reaction. He was upset about that too.
I don't think the pitcher was upset when he nailed the bird. When Randy Johnson nailed the bird. Did you ever see that, Dave? Where Randy Johnson nailed the bird?
I'm older than you. Remember that?
Oh, that's right. That's true.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If there's a young person that all of a sudden somebody says, "All right, we want you to follow a certain team." In the old days, you had a little bit of leeway as far as being able to take a manager or a player to task. Now, as soon as anybody takes a player to task, there was a protective cocoon around that player, and all of a sudden, again, I'm not going to point to the Mets and what went on with the Newsday reporter, but you have the softball questions now to the manager, to the player. It's not reporting the way it should be done, isn't it?
Well, I do know that it sounded like, and I heard a few different versions of the Newsday guy. It didn't sound like, my question on that Newsday thing is when he said goodbye, I'll see you tomorrow, and he ended up. Yeah, how did he say it? That was the only thing that I wanted to know. Did he say it in a sarcastic type of way? But what you just said, what it reminded me of? It reminded him of Billy Martin. Yeah. And in the dugout, was it Winfield or whatever and Reggie Jackson? I'm sorry, with Reggie Jackson. So it's all entitlement. It's this generation.
He pulled him in from right field. Remember that?
Yeah. But it's this entitlement where a manager's not allowed to do whatever and that's just part of our society today. I hate it too, Dave.
Because players end up owning teams now. Jeter owns a team. The whole thing is flipped on its head now.
No, I remember when Paul Blair went out to Reggie and Reggie gave him that look, and he just pointed to the dugout, and then Reggie, sheepishly walked in there with the glove in hand.
Yeah.
And Billy met him at the far end of the dugout.
I also think, and that just reminds me of another thing, that I also think we, as fans, we had a lot more appreciation for baseball back then because we only had a game of the week.
Right.
It was special. I could be sitting in my living room in Atlanta growing up and watching the Yankees on NBC, the game of the week. First of the day would start off with a little Mel Allen and This Week in Baseball, right?
Yep.
Then you'd watch whatever, and then there'd be a Monday night game once in a while, right? And maybe Friday night. And this is before TBS. This is before all of that. And I think that we've lost a little appreciation for the game of baseball.
Yeah.
As fans, even.
I do remember growing up in a large Irish Catholic neighborhood, playing wiffle ball under the street light with the transistor on.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the Met fan would leave when we put it on the Yankee game. And again, it was good bantering and stuff like that. But,
yeah.
And when when things ended, then it was a nice discussion. Again, we're talking about young people, but again, the discussion was there.
Yeah, and it doesn't. I don't know. It really kind of takes away from. And it's funny. I'll even talk to my kids about it, and they'll say, "Are you watching the game?" I've said, "You know what? No, I'm watching it online. I'm watching I'm just watching the box score kind of thing."
You know what people are doing now? I read about this recently. They're DVRing the game so they don't have to watch the whole thing. They're DVRing it so they can. That's what people are doing.
That's crazy. And baseball is the one kind of game you can't even do that.
But people are, like SNY, for example, has this fast forward every morning at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So people are specifically watching that, and they're waiting. They're not even watching the game the night before. Evan Roberts on FAN said that he DVRs a lot of these games. So I don't think people are sitting there.
And like he then watches what the score was or whatever, and then watches it.
I don't know how he does it exactly, but I know a lot of people are doing that. They're DVRing it. They're forward fasting to the rallies or whatever. They're missing, those moments that Dave was talking about.
Yeah.
And listen, when you have a 4-hour and 50-minute game in London, that's the reason why. That's a disgrace. They got to fix that. You can't have 5-hour, 9-inning games.
Dave, did you watch the game today? Did the people in London seem juiced?
I was working, but what was remarkable to me, and I was listening on the radio at work, was the amount of white shirts, the background that the batters had to look against. And you would figure that would work against the batters, but for some reason, obviously with the offensive, explosion, it really didn't affect them. And again, I like the fact that the Yankees presented the team and baseball in a very positive fashion with the clinics they were giving to the young people, even the girls that play softball out there, and the fact they were giving away a lot of equipment, which is easy for a team like the Yankees. But I think diplomatically, we presented ourselves rather well.
Yes, we did. I don't know if anybody cares over there, but we certainly did.
Who was at the game?
I guess fans. I don't know.
Was it typical British people, or was it like Americans who were traveling there?
And do you know how much merchandise they bought?
Oh, I bet.
In the pub right now, well, I have no idea time difference. Can you imagine all the Yankee hats that went back to the pubs and the Boston hats that went back to the pubs?
Oh, yeah. Have some warm beer.
Yeah, I'll let you go, but I have a perfect solution for the Mets.
Sure.
We'll see if Cano can close, Edwin Diaz can bat third, and Tomei can catch.
It'll be just as effective.
You can't have anything to lose. Dave, thanks for the call. Thanks for listening.
Hey, that was a great call.
Yeah, he gives us certainly some informative information. Fitness 1440, located in Livingston, New Jersey, at 277 Eisenhower Parkway. Fitness 1440 is here to get you results. It's working for Johnny. From the state-of-art equipment to Target 24, the 24-minute full-body circuit, you can depend on them to personally help you achieve your fitness goals. Each and every client is unique, and their personal trainers will design a personalized workout that is right for you and you achieve your goals. So many options available to you, help you get in shape, including structured classes and challenges. And if you're in Livingston, West Orange, Florham Park, East Hanover, you just found the best gym out there. Visit them at www.fitness1440nj.com. And while you're on their website, click on the link for a free trial and see for yourself that Fitness 1440 is all about them. Tell them Johnny from Talking Sports sent you there. Give them a call at 973-992-1444. Fitness 1440. They'll help you achieve your fitness goals. All right, Bruce, let's take a quick break. I'm late with that. I apologize. All right, when we come back, I want to take a look at the All-Star game. We'll look at the players who have been selected to start. We'll get more into NBA free agency. Chuck will update us on scores and finals around Major League Baseball. You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening, almost Sunday morning, with me, John Friedman. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Moe's call-in line at 800-848-9222. We will be right back.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so. There are so many options from the traditional media to
The Rays have this kid who's a two-way player. He came up today.
Bring it up.
He pitched the perfect game into the sixth, his first game.
And what's the position he plays?
Brendan McKay. He plays, I don't know where he fields, but he's really a pitcher, but he can hit. And the
Osani's got some competition.
So who's that?
Osani's got some competition. All right, we're going to go to a call here with Leslie in Fort Lee.
We help our clients
Oh, he did?
their relationships, reputations, and brands
He wants
by
to.
integrating your
I'm going to have to bring that up.
entire media
Leslie, I know you like to call what's her name. You know, Jeff here.
We didn't mention her name, though. Last time.
So learn more about us by
Wonder if she ever listened to it.
I don't think so. She would have said
scgadb.com.
something
That's
like that. I told her.
scgadb.com. We'll help you reach your customers, all of them.
What do you think, Marty? Is sponsored by Brown & Brown Metro.
I read that spot terribly.
From homeowners, automotive, workers' compensation, business insurance, group health, casualty, and life insurance. Visit Brown & Brown Metro on the web at bbmetro.com or give them a call at 973-549-1900. Visit Brown & Brown Metro on the web at bbmetro.com or give them a call at 973-549-1900. Brown & Brown Metro is a proud sponsor of What Do You Think, Marty?
Many doctors in the U.S.
You know
and
that guy,
Canada have
Dave,
chosen
Nicole?
the Back Institute for
He used
their
to call
own
my old
care.
show.
Experts in
Oh,
non-traumatic
you don't
spine
know him
surgery.
personally? It seems
No
like you knew
cutting,
you.
no
No.
bleeding,
You knew your
no
age.
drilling,
I don't even know where that in Long
Offices
Island
in
is
New York
called.
City,
I
Philadelphia, and Beverly
just had it on the
Hills.
screen.
BackInstitute.com offers information about
Sounds like
new
Suffolk County
non-traumatic
somewhere.
techniques.
He's
Visit
a
Back
call.
Institute
Yeah.
online at backinstitute.com. Or
He's
give them a
dry,
call at
too.
800-956-6724.
I don't agree with anything he said, but it was a great
Yeah.
call, though.
That's 800-956-6724. Back
I
Institute.
thought it was really nice that Rich Kubot, whoever it was, to redo that.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Advertisers
that's why I
trying to
think
reach
Dino.
potential
We always talk
customers
about that.
in
It
today's
starts off with
technology-driven world are
Dino.
having a difficult, if
You
not
see- you
impossible
see it?
time
Yeah.
figuring out how to do so.
But
There
how
are
he has so many
many options
followers?
from the traditional
Right.
media
I
to
know.
He never has a
limitless
picture.
digital and social
It is
platforms
weird.
that are available,
It's
making
definitely
it
weird.
harder than ever for businesses to get their message
You
in
want to
front of
talk
the right
hockey free
audience.
agency?
There is a solution, however.
Yeah, we're gonna
It's
we're gonna do that. Yeah, but
SCG
I'm gonna take Leslie, your buddy Leslie,
My God.
SCG is a
and
full service
then we'll get into it.
All right, sounds good. But
agency
the
that can help you
Islanders and
navigate through
Rangers and
today's chaotic
Devils
media
perform the
landscape
Chargers.
and reach
They're
your
all in
potential
on the same
customers.
top free
We help
agent.
our clients
Nice.
strengthen their
Bring it in. Chuck brings it to the party.
brands by integrating your message across the entire media spectrum. The folks at SCG understand the options available to advertisers and will work with you to determine the best creative and media plan for your business.
My wife's
So
going
learn
to
more
Israel
about us by visiting
on Thursday.
By herself?
scgadb.com.
We have 10 days to visit our kids.
Wow.
So she has the week off. Or whatever. I love it. I'm on vacation, man.
All of them.
Talk Radio 77.
No hockey.
WABC.
What's that?
I'll be on time here next week.
Proud to kick off the baseball season by announcing the celebrity softball battle for
You should come out for a Shabbos with me.
Yeah, because that would be something.
MCU Park on July 24th.
I'll be showing for Shabbos. I won't put the television on all day.
You never got. I don't care. You never got along though.
Right.
It was good for you. Like.
Well, we'll also have dinner at the show. Oh, no, I was thinking that. She knows. But
July 24th, 5 p.m. at MCU Park. Order tickets today. Learn more at strikecancerout.org and WABCRadio.com.
All right, we're back. We're talking sports on a Saturday evening with me, John Friedman. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Moe's call-in line at 800-848-WABC. And speaking of the Gotta Go to Moe's call-in line, let's go to Leslie in Fort Lee. Leslie, you're on Talking Sports on a Saturday evening.
John, this is a big week in your basketball because if the Nets sign Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant or another superstar, and the Nets get field a super team, this is going to be the worst, lowest moment in Knicks history. And the Knicks have accomplished plenty of blows under Dolan. This could be the worst because there's going to be hell to pay with Dolan. I'm telling you right now, if Donnie Walsh paid for his job for not signing LeBron James, someone's going to pay for the Knicks because you did not go waste your season, this past season, being so awful, save up all your money for the cap, just to lose out in the lottery, and then losing your star stars to the your rival Nets, that's bad optics. That's a terrible look. That is going to be Dolan's epitaph. And not only just losing the NBA stars to the Nets, but you look at the generation, like people like Charlie's age, okay? The people that graduated high school, people that graduated junior high, people that graduated elementary school. Those kids do not have the connection to the way I do at 39 years old.
True.
The Knicks were winning, okay? They never had that. So what do they care about the Knicks? What do they care?
It's a good point, but here's the deal. And I'm just not, for some reason, I'm not sold on this. And, well, I guess we're going to find out. I do think that Kyrie's going to the Nets, but I just can't see Kevin Durant doing it over the Knicks. I could be wrong. I mean, from a standpoint of what team is more developed right now, no doubt it's the Nets. Not even close.
We're going to find out very soon. But one thing about Leslie mentioned that he's totally right, and it appeals to me because I'm a guy who watched every Nets game back in the day of Jason Kidd, Stephon Marbury, and what turned me off? That they were so awful for so long.
Yeah.
And I just lost. And he's right. There's an entire generation now of kids who know nothing but a debacle in MSG. And they have no connection. He's right. He's 100% right.
But here's the thing, Leslie. Why, if you're Kevin Durant and you're looking at their roster right now, right, and knowing that he's not going to play next year, do you want to sign with the Knicks?
No, my gut feeling with Durant, I think he'll stay in Golden State when push comes to shove.
I do too, by the way.
I really do. I never thought he was leaving in the first place. Now with that injury.
And declining the options is protocol now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It means nothing. I think he's going to stay. If Durant leaves, he's going to stay with the Clippers. But I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he'll stay with the Warriors. I think he knows not to leave a good thing. I just can't see it. And I don't think Kevin Durant has it in him to play in New York. I don't think he wants the headache of playing in New York. I don't think he wants to deal with Dolan. Okay, I just don't think it's just happening. I just think it's just too good to be true. Already we got screwed with the lottery, okay? So we're making.
You got a good player. I mean, you didn't get screwed.
Oh, well, you know what?
You can't rely on getting the top.
Well,
guy.
we're gonna find out if they got a good player.
We think they did, right?
Well, here's my thing about RJ Barrett. He doesn't play defense. He's a streaky shooter. Okay, he's a black hole on offense. He slows down the offense. He's basically Carmelo Anthony 2.0. And do we need that again?
And never played a minute in the NBA. And by the way, them not signing anybody either and being in the lottery again is not so bad.
Right.
That's how you win is organically. Now, Leslie, I got a question for you. So let's all make an assumption that Kyrie is going to the Nets. What do the Nets do on top of that? Anything?
Good question.
They're going to sign somebody. I don't think we just sign Kyrie Irving just for the hell of it. They're going to get a player.
A Jimmy Butler kind of player?
Yeah. They're going to get Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris. They'll get something. They have a plan. They got a bright young general manager, Sean Marks.
Yeah, and a good coach.
Yeah, and Kenny Anderson's a good coach. Yes, absolutely.
He's a point guard coach, actually.
I mean, listen, I like D'Angelo Russell, but you cannot pass up on Kyrie Irving. I know Kyrie has personal issues, but with that talent, I mean, you know when Kyrie's hit his right, he's really good. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know what happened in Boston. Obviously, there was a lot of distrust with him and Brad Stevens and his teammates. I understand all that, but I think Kenny can get through with Kyrie Irving.
Al Horford, maybe?
What about Kawhi? Where's Kawhi going?
Not to the Nets.
Not to the Nets.
Probably back in Toronto, I would think.
You think?
I would hope for Toronto he would. What do you think about Al Horford to the Nets?
That would be a good deal because Al Horford was still the Kenny Anderson in Atlanta.
Right. And so let me just turn the page on you real quick, if you don't mind, real quickly, Leslie. So I was looking at the standings, and all of a sudden I saw Cleveland 8 out. You concerned?
Yeah, it's a long season. I just won today, and and by the way, I'm going to Minnesota in 2 weeks.
Good for you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Who they playing?
The loser New York Mets.
Oh, well, at least you'll get some wins in there.
That's true. But you know what? I'll be surprised by one of the Mets fans at Target Field because the Mets fans are just tired. They're disgusted. They're going out. I can't see them traveling to the games this year. I can't.
You're going to be able to get some good seats over at City Field soon.
Good for you. Good for you.
They're not serious about winning. You know what? If they want to create a culture, where they leave their manager out to dry, you know what? Why give my money to them?
And they really have left him out to dry. They really have. You can't judge this manager. I mean, he's, like someone was mad recently when he had put Diaz in when he blew the save. What's he supposed to do?
There's no right move. There's no right move.
It's unbelievable.
How can he kill the manager when there's no right move any night with the bullpen?
Jeff Wilpon was a loser, by the way, and Brody Van Wagenen, who should have been hired, by the way. You know what? They're leaving Mickey out to dry in the sense that they're gonna fire him after the season. They're just making him manage to take the losses and take the arrows and slings because they don't want to deal with the criticism. Because you fire the manager now, they're going to take a lot of heat. But here's the problem.
Then they'll bring in the 82-year-old Regan.
The pitching strategist too is super duper. I mean, just brutal. I mean, listen, I checked out on the Mets, John. I didn't watch them today. I didn't watch them last night. And I gotta watch them for the Subway Series because I gotta write the Upstate Courier. I gotta write the Subway Series, and then the Twin Series. I'll be going there in the Midwest. And then you know what? I'm done. That's it.
All right. Well, listen. Thanks for listening and thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for the call. You're listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening. We're gonna hit Sunday morning in about a minute. We got news on the top of the hour. You're listening to Talking Sports. I'm John Friedman. We'll be right back.
That was good. Leslie.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so.
Thank you,
There
Bruce.
are so many options, from the traditional media to the practically limitless digital and social platforms that are available, making it harder than ever for businesses to get their message in front of the right audience. There is a solution, however, and it's called SCG Advertising and Public Relations.
So, Chuck, after the top of the hour, we'll go to an update, and then you can go right into. We'll talk. You can start us off talking about these free agency hockey things.
And reach your potential customer. We help our clients strengthen their relationships, reputations, and brands by integrating your message across the entire media spectrum. The folks at SCG understand the options available to advertisers and will work with you to determine the best creative and media plan for your business. So learn more about us by visiting scgadv.com. That's scgadv.com. We'll help you reach your customers. All of them.
JDiet.com studios. We are
Talk Radio 77.
WABC, New York. Cumulus station. Talk Radio.
Kim Jong-un in the hand. Navy SEAL trial winding up. I'm Ed. That's what President Trump wants from North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, and he'll be at the demilitarized zone to get it.
The president telling South Korean business leaders about his visit later in the day to the demilitarized zone, and the hope North Korea's Kim Jong-un will be there.
They want to meet, and I'd love to say hello. It's going to be very short, so it's good for both of us. Let's see what happens. They're trying to work it out. Not so easy.
The main reason for meeting with the business leaders was to move forward now that South Korea and the U.S. have worked out a trade agreement. He talked of Samsung and Hyundai investing in the U.S. Bob Costantini, Osaka, Japan.
South Korea's president, who once met Kim there, is expected to join Trump. Well, the offer came as the G20 summit in Osaka wrapped up. The U.S.-China trade war appears to be on hold.
What happened to Izzy?
Trump says he will not.
Oh, he wasn't in tonight.
Tariffs on
All right, he
Beijing.
saw me. He opened the door for me as he was leaving.
Sells some components to the Chinese telecommunications giant Huawei, which was
Here's my
blacklisted
mobile
last
phone.
month as a threat to America's national security. Lawyers have made their closing arguments in the trial of U.S. Navy SEAL Edward Gallagher, accused of fatally stabbing a wounded ISIS captive.
The jury heard dramatic accounts from both sides. At least 2 SEALs say they witnessed the attack, but one of them, Navy SEAL Medic Corey Scott, stunned the courtroom when he testified under immunity that he asphyxiated the ISIS detainee and that Gallagher was ultimately not responsible for the death.
Correspondent Dan Simon. Gallagher, a decorated career combat veteran, is also charged with attempted murder and the wounding of a schoolgirl, an elderly man shot from his sniper's perch, obstruction of justice, and other offenses. The Yankees and Red Sox official MLB game in London ended with a victory for New York and a high score. The Yanks won 17-13. I'm Evan Haining. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising. Sponsored by Case Legal Media. Attention, this is an important message for anyone that has been diagnosed with cancer
That
after
show
being
that's on
exposed to
before you
Roundup
was
or
so
other weed
bad.
killers. The Internal Agency for Research on Cancer
Hello, I'm Lola.
Good.
That's not good for me.
What I'm saying.
I should probably talk to him about it, but it's a 400 liter. So it's not like there's a lot.
You're right. But she, oh my God, I haven't heard it before. It's
This
so bad.
information was hidden from the
So bad.
Hello, I'm Lola.
since 1981.
Yeah, very
Imagine
well.
trying to prep for the show and listening to that.
Oh my
If your
God.
loved one has been diagnosed with cancer after being exposed to Roundup or other weed killers, you may be entitled to
Really was
significant
uplifting
compensation.
compared
Call
to
us
these
now
people.
at 800-770-04.
He's
We're
so
dying
cheap.
people.
Oh, yeah, he's
Attorneys are ready
terrible.
to fight for you. You'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call now for a free consultation at
I'm wondering if they really signed that
800-716-0457.
midnight.
You must
That's
protect
what
your
I'm checking.
legal rights.
First, I think it is.
Oh, it's not tomorrow.
Yeah, well, tomorrow, yeah, late tomorrow night.
That's what I'm checking.
But there's some unofficials out there.
Right.
The Kyrie Irving, I think, is an unofficial thing.
WABC and Maimonides Medical Center are proud to kick off Brooklyn's baseball season by announcing the Celebrity Softball Battle for Brooklyn. Come out to Coney Island's MCU Park on July 24th to root for your favorite hosts and celebrities as they play to benefit the new state-of-the-art Maimonides Prostate Center. Team Talk Radio 77 WABC will be led by Bernie and Sid in the morning. The Celebrity Softball
Well, that's a lot coming from you, Alex.
July 24th, 5 p.m. at MCU Park. Order tickets today. Learn more at strikecancerout.org and WABCRadio.com. The following program does not necessarily reflect the views of WABC Radio. It's
Love
Saturday
that.
evening. Time for Talking Sports. Here's your host, Jonathan Friedman.
All right, we're back. It's midnight, Sunday morning in the Big Apple. Hey, John Friedman, Jeff Lax is with us, Chuck is with us. We got a lot more to do in the next half hour. Give us a call on the Gotta Go to Mo's call-in line at 800-848-WABC. Models.com. You know, earlier tonight, I don't know if anybody noticed that the College World Series went on over the last few weeks, and Vanderbilt won for the third, or they won in the last 4 years, they won 2 or 3 championships, which is very impressive. But they beat Michigan, who was one of the last seeds to get in to the College World Series. Big Ten schools are not real good baseball schools. You know, they can't play as long, because of their weather situation. So kudos to the University of Michigan for taking them to 3 games. And anyway, so Vanderbilt won, and they won the College World Series. And also, did you notice this? I was reading, and we're going to go through the All-Star game or whatever. Did you know that the Yankees, when they play the Los Angeles Dodgers, Chuck, I don't know if you know this, when they play the Los Angeles Dodgers after the All-Star breakout in L.A., they're going to wear black uniforms.
The Yankees are?
Yeah, that's what this article says.
Seriously?
Yes, it's a part of the MLB Players Weekend. So
Is this where they have the nicknames too?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
Yankees
see.
jerseys are gonna be black. Yeah.
What, just like black?
I don't know if they're gonna be like black.
I wonder what they look like.
Like black with the word Yankees written across.
Wait a second, they're gonna have nicknames on the back of the Yankees jerseys? The Yankees are gonna have names on the back?
Can you believe the Yankees of all teams? Yeah.
Did they do that before?
It-
The Yankees have had that before?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still not even used to the Cubs having names on their back.
I'll give you a few examples. They had they called Didi Gordis the Knight. They had Chapman was the Missile, and Stanton Pickles for Sonny Gray.
Can I do the Mets ones? Can I?
Yeah, you got a few.
Because man, could I come up with some good ones for the Mets play right now?
So that's kind of silly though, when you have nicknames.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of silly, but anyway, I guess
Bad News Bears.
All right, Chuck, why don't you get us updated on scores and finals around Major League Baseball and anything else going around the sports, including did USA women's soccer play today?
No, they played the other day.
They barely won 2-1 over France.
Yeah, but hey, they moved on to the semi.
I don't like that this lady doesn't stand for the national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that. She stood for the Tokyo for the Taiwan anthem.
So one of our players is not standing for the. I haven't seen.
Yeah, and she won't go to the White House either.
But she stands for the other team.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I forgot her name. It's the one with all the controversy.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Chuck, go ahead.
All right, Johnny. Diamondbacks and Giants are scoreless in the top of the 7th. A's are blanking the Angels 4-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Padres all over the Cardinals 9-1 in the top of the 6th. The Yankees had a goal line stand to hang on and beat the Red Sox 17-13. Orioles blanked the Indians 13-0. Blue Jays over the Royals 7-5. Your Braves beat the Mets 5-4. Rays over the Rangers 5-2. Tigers over the Nationals 7-5. Cubs shut out the Reds 6-0. Marlins beat the Phillies 9-6. Twins beat the White Sox 10-3. Rockies beat the Dodgers 5-3. Brewers over the Pirates 3-1. And the Astros walked it off and beat the Mariners 6-5 and 10.
Very nice. And you had some hockey free agent news for us, didn't you?
So, according to sources, which could be true or false, it appears that all 3 local teams are in on pending free agent Artemi Panarin, who's one of the best wingers in hockey.
Wow.
But I don't think that the Devils are going to be in that because they got to pay Taylor Hall next year, so their cap situation is not looking. So I think they're just one of those teams that are just calling in to do their due diligence. But the Rangers and Islanders are one of the 3 reported teams left standing. So
Interesting.
It'll be an interesting next couple of days.
I saw that I was going through some free agents in hockey, by the way, and I was noticed. Did the Islanders? Are they not going to sign this goalie?
Yeah, Leonard.
He's still available.
This is what I think became the problem was that in order to get Panarin, I think Panarin wants to play with Sergei Bobrovsky. So in order to get Panarin to come to the island, they're going to have to sign Bob also. So if they sign Bob, then they really have no use for Robin Leonard. So it's kind of like
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. I mean, that guy he had a good year.
He did.
That's tough. Did you see also that St. Louis did sign their head coach? I don't want to pronounce his name. Bert, what? He was re-signed to a 3-year deal. I saw that. And you saw that the Toronto Raptors head coach, GM, no, not the Raptors, their president, the GM guy, is staying with them. He's not going to the Washington Wizards. Why would he? Because there was talk that he was offered a big deal about that. And did you happen to see also, by the way, Charles Barkley talking about LeVar Ball at the airport in Los Angeles? Pretty funny. Did you see that, Jeff? Somebody, TMZ, caught up with Barkley at the airport in Los Angeles, asking him about Ball, and he's like, "It's a shame," because the way Barkley would say, "It's a shame because the kid's a nice kid and his dad's just an idiot." Kind of a funny story there. So, and getting back to the free agency with the NBA, I stopped reading articles because I'm tired of reading anything because, I think guys are grasping at straws or whatever, just like I think when Leslie said, I think that Durant's going to end back up in Golden State, no matter that you saw him on a wheelchair running around Manhattan on one of those things and a scooter. So I don't see him leaving Golden State. I don't see Klay Thompson leaving Golden State. A lot of these the key free agent I want to know that where he's going is Jimmy Butler. What is he doing? Al Horford, what is he doing? Some of the other guys I'm interested to seeing where they're going.
A key thing about free agency is that now that we're so what's the word I'm looking for? Connected with the media via social media, Twitter and whatnot, I feel as though agents and teams kind of leak out these false rumors to all these insiders, and they put it out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Media, and the fans just eat it up.
Yeah.
Like today, to go back to the whole Panarin thing, there was when I woke up and had breakfast, there were reports that the Islanders were almost out of the Panarin sweepstakes. That was from one insider. Then a little while after that, there was another insider reporting that the Islanders and the Panthers were the 2 teams left for Panarin. So how do you have two different reports of that magnitude?
Yeah.
The Giants did a similar thing this year with Daniel Jones. If you remember, right before, like 3 or 4 days before the draft, the New York Post did a bizarre article. I mean, one of the more bizarre pre-NFL draft articles I've ever seen, basically advocating for Daniel Jones to be the Giants' #1 pick. And I remember seeing that and immediately saying exactly what you're talking about, Chuck, which is the Giants must have leaked this because they want to see how it's gonna blow in the wind. And if they did that, the fans did a bad job, and reporters did a bad job not killing the Giants before the draft because no one really said anything, and then they did the stupid thing.
Well, Jeff, to go off on your point exactly, there were reports heading up to the draft that the Washington Redskins wanted Jones at 15. And then after the draft, their GM came out and said that we never said that and whatnot. So where are these reports?
Oh, don't get Jeff started on that.
You know where those reports came from. They came from Gettleman.
Probably did. I wouldn't be surprised.
Gettleman, there's no question in my mind that Gettleman put that out there.
And to go off that too, last week when I was here, and I told Johnny that the Nets aren't going to sign Kyrie because there was a report that came out that if Kyrie can't bring a Kevin Durant to the team, that they're not going to sign him because they don't want just Kyrie. And then today, you get the alert that Kyrie's signing with the Nets regardless.
Yeah.
Why would Kyrie at 27 want to waste an entire year of his career waiting for KD? Why?
Well, opposed to what? In other words, he shouldn't sign somewhere? I mean,
I just don't. Why does he want Durant specifically? Why does it have to be Durant?
how do we know that's him? How do we know that's not somebody else throwing that out there and stuff? That's the problem.
Right.
We don't know.
That's a good point. You might be right.
I think that Kyrie is such like a head case.
He has become a head case.
That he can't really play under the microscope in like a big city. I mean, even though the Nets are technically a big city, they're a second-tier team in a big city.
Or does he like to be the man?
That could be true, but when you go back to his Cleveland days, when LeBron came, he wasn't the man.
No, he was until LeBron got there.
No, very similar with Marbury. Marbury was a very similar kind of guy in those ways. And we also wondered about Marbury, and he was a little up and down too. He had the talent.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure he was everything he could have been. He could have been great, Marbury. I thought.
Interesting. That's why it became tiring trying to read these stories. That's why. And at the end of the day, guys who, the guys that are owned by teams. I don't want to use that word. I remember wrong word. We're not allowed to use the word owned. Governed by or have the rights to. Durant can sign with more money with Golden State than he can with any other team. We're talking a difference of $13 million or whatever it is. Right. But doesn't he have the marketing opportunities no matter where he goes? It's with the internet now and everything.
He comes to New York City. This is the advertising capital of the world.
It is, but you mean to say he doesn't get the endorsements because he plays in Golden State?
Yeah, because think about it, Golden State is the Bay Area, right? I mean, that's not really. I mean, it's popular, but it's not like in LA or.
Well, you know who loses out that it is a good example of your argument is Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Mike Trout,
Yeah.
We don't get to see Mike Trout play.
It's sad.
And he's so good, right? And he just signed an extension, right, with California.
Like
Imagine, and he plays in Anaheim, Los Angeles, whatever, but he still he's not out there.
They haven't been a good team either. He hasn't won a championship.
But he's out, but imagine would he be with the Yankees?
Willie Mays.
Or would he be that with Philadelphia?
Yes.
Because he's a South Jersey guy?
Yeah, I think he would.
Well, Johnny, two things to go off. One is that I feel as though that's more of the MLB's fault because they market Ohtani as if he's God.
It's so true. You're right.
And he's on the same team as Trout. And you would never know that because all they talk about is Ohtani this, Ohtani that, Babe Ruth this, Babe Ruth that. So it's part of the MLB's fault. And second off, I think some of these guys don't really like all that attention. I think you're seeing it more and more because, as I said, we're so connected now with social media that some of these guys are more like laid back and mellow. Like Trout is a South Jersey kid. He grew up in like the middle of nowhere,
right?
So to say,
like Glassboro, New Jersey, or something like that.
For him to hang out in Anaheim time playing second fiddle to the Dodgers, he might like it because he's still a star, but he doesn't get that same media attention, and he's allowed to be.
And the pressure that comes with that, yeah.
We're starting to see that more and more, and that's why players are starting to go to these mid-major markets because they don't want that attention.
Interesting. And speaking of Ohtani, didn't you have something to tell me about some guy in Tampa Bay?
Brendan McKay, you're a fantasy baseball guy. And by the way, I was savvy enough to stockpile this guy weeks ago. So this guy, Brendan McKay, who's a two-way player.
Yeah. He's
a good hitter, but really he's a great pitcher. And the Rays called him up today. The guy goes into the sixth inning with a perfect game.
Yeah.
And then some guy bloops a hit. I think Gallo got a bloop hit to right field. Blew the perfect game, but he had a great first game. His parents were in the stands. So
did he hit? Oh, so he didn't hit, obviously,
he
right?
Didn't hit today, but he probably will.
Well, what is he, a DH?
He played first base.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so what are they going to do with him? Is he going to hit?
The report said that he's going to stay up probably through the All-Star break, which is in 2 weeks or so, and that on days he's not pitching, they're going to have him play DH.
DH.
Or be the DH.
Right. I heard he's not a great fielder.
Yeah.
But I saw some highlights. He looked good.
But the bat's good. When he was at Louisville, he was like College Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So he's a very good. He is the American version
of Ohtani. Not as good a hitter as Ohtani.
No.
Ohtani is a good player, by the way. That's why I'm wondering why. That's why I'm wondering why they would, why they would do that. Why, they don't just let him play I wouldn't have him pitch again. And I know he's a good pitcher. I just don't think I would ever let him pitch again.
Well, Johnny, you just reminded me when Ohtani came over to play here, he didn't want a big franchise in a big market, so he eliminated the Yankees and the Dodgers and everyone, and he was trying to choose between teams like the Angels and the Twins and the Mariners and the Padres. Another example of guys just want.
Well, what's he coming to America for then? That I don't get. I got to tell you, what are you coming here for then? Isn't the whole point that you're coming here for that renown? You should be renowned and known. That I don't get. If you're coming here from a foreign country, isn't that the whole point? That you want to be recognized for your great play? I mean,
he is recognized, though.
But not on the global. We're talking about Trout not being recognized because he's over there. Same thing with Ohtani.
So, speaking of baseball, I just wanted to quickly, because we only got about 10 minutes left, but I wanted to quickly, I was looking at it through the standings. Nothing stands out to me going on in Major League Baseball right now, except, Minnesota did have a big lead on Cleveland. They narrowed it to 8, but nothing, the Yankees already. Right, and Tampa Bay, did they win today, Tampa Bay? So it's still 6.5 games over. But, the Yankees are going to run away with it. Atlanta, Philadelphia, I still think is going to be a dogfight come at the end of the day. How's what's his name doing? Is he still not hitting? Harper? 13 years he'll be there.
Oh my God, that's almost worse than the Cano deal.
That's a max deal. Another max deal. The Dodgers, I got to tell you, the National League West, which has been really good over the last few years, terrible.
The Dodgers are.
That's it. Right. Colorado's 13 games back in second place.
Right.
Matter of fact, and this is interesting, in the National League Central, the last place Cincinnati Reds, who are 36-42, are only 6.5 games out.
Yeah.
Who knows what will happen in the second half? And we've got the trading deadline, and I can't stand where everybody, the media again brings up, it's the trading deadline. The trading deadline is August 31st.
Not anymore.
What do you mean?
Not this year.
Why?
They got rid of it.
So there's no clearing wait. You don't have. You got that whole thing. This is it. No August 31st at all. You can't make one deal after that.
No, there's a real deadline for the first.
Why though?
They changed the rule because of what you're saying. They heard you. They heard Johnny.
Well, here it's a little embarrassing. I didn't know that. But on the other hand of that, why? That that was kind of good thing of the August 31st is creeping through. That. We got this guy, through waivers that he cleared waivers and we picked. That's what the beauty of the August 31st deadline was.
But you're not really on the team.
Teams put their whole roster through by August 31st. I like that deadline.
Your point was well taken, though. They changed the rule because of exactly what you're saying.
I guess. I just always thought that was I always liked, all right, they got to clear, they got a clear waiver.
Right.
The other one, I liked August 31st. And there's been some really good players who have helped teams, including Houston, by the way.
Yeah.
Wasn't Verlander picked up then? Right.
Rarely happens. I mean, before it was Verlander, like the biggest one I can remember was the trade between the Red Sox and the Dodgers when the Red Sox sent Hanley and Gonzalez and all of them to Dodgers.
I don't know. I remember in 1995 in the NLCS where the Braves by August 31st picked up Mike Devereaux from the White Sox, and he went on to win the MVP of the NLCS. So it's those little moves that I kind of liked at the end of that August 31st deadline.
The Doyle Alexander move?
Exactly.
Like
for John Smoltz.
Yep.
How about Detroit? You think they were kicking themselves? By the way, he helped Detroit.
He did. He had a
They
great
went
year.
on to win the world.
Absolutely.
But the Atlanta Braves ended up getting John
That's an
Smoltz.
all-timer.
Great trade, I guess, for both teams at that time.
Yeah.
So, and how great is John Smoltz on the air?
Yeah.
Is he a great color guy? I enjoy. You don't like him? Really? This is not about me in Atlanta. He's a good color guy.
I think all the Fox guys are kind of boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Joe Buck is boring. I'm tired of hearing Joe Buck all the time.
But I remember the days of like Tim McCarver.
Ah, Tim McCarver.
That was what I grew up on. Every Saturday, you used to watch Fox Game of the Week.
Did Frank Healy? Fran Healy? What did he do? The Mets or
The
Yankees?
Mets.
What did he
He
do?
was horrible. He was horrible.
He still have that show on
I
SNY,
think he still has a show somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
an interview show or whatever.
Something, yeah.
Very interesting. And it's interesting. You know what I like about Michael Kay when listening to him?
He lost his voice.
Oh, he did?
He has a big issue going on now.
He's very objective.
Yeah.
When he's doing a Yankee game on television, he doesn't have a problem saying that I don't agree with that move. So, yeah, I love that. And I don't know if he's hired by the Yankees or he's hired by the station or whatever it is, but I like when you do those things. When you're objective as the I don't ever hear Ernie Skip Carey's son, Chip Carey. I don't know if he ever criticizes the Braves or whatever.
Did you see Cookie Monster doing
I
that?
did. Cookie Monster in Chicago doing that. And it's interesting. So Kimbrel comes out to save that game, his first save. He walks the first two guys. Brian McCann gets called looking on a third strike, which was not even close to a third strike, to make it 2 outs or something with Braves and runners on the base to possibly take the lead. And Friedman hits a screamer down the first base line that ends up being caught by Rizzo, which interesting. Kimbrel gets the save, but he was so close. He was shaky. He was shaky like when he played the Yankees in the playoffs. I'm not a big Kimbrel guy.
To give him credit, though, it was his first game pitching
Right.
in a serious game since they won the World Series last year. But don't let that distract you from the fact that the Red Sox bullpen gave up 11 runs today.
Wow, that was crazy. And you were who? So the home team was the Yankees. So
Red Sox.
no, right. So you were all juiced after a 6-0 lead in the first inning today.
So I saw
You were like, woo!
Didn't last long.
And then, what did I do? I went to go get changed to go to the pool, and I came down, and it was 6-6, and I was like, when the hell did this happen?
Both starting pitchers went 1/3 of an inning, 6 runs. Both. That's great. I mean, that's great. Hello,
Crazy.
London. Welcome, London, to MLB.
Anybody stand out to you guys in the All-Star game that you're like, I can't believe he's the starter at the All-Star game for either team?
I think Hunter Pence being the DH is kind
I thought he's out. He's been on the DL.
terrible. Still, he got voted in. Jorge Polanco being the starting shortstop.
He's having a great year.
Yeah, but I think Torres deserves it.
He's hitting like 330 or something, right? He's having a terrific year.
He is.
I'm excited about Alonso. I really am. He's going to play in the home run hitting contest.
And the Yankees second baseman made the team, didn't he?
Worried about what?
Yeah, LeMahieu. What is he hitting? Let me see what he's doing here.
50 or something?
He's hitting about 700. That's what it feels like. He had 4 hits today. He had 5 RBIs.
Chris Carlin tweeted earlier tonight that he thinks LeMahieu is the league MVP.
Wow.
Not the Yankee MVP. That's a little nuts, but that's what he
He's
said.
having a terrific year.
League MVP?
I see Freddie Freeman starting at first base.
Yeah, LeMayu's batting, I think 350 at least.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see right now.
And then tomorrow night on ESPN, they have the reserves selection show.
That's funny. I didn't even know they did this.
Yeah, they have it's a big
Sorry,
reserve. I didn't know about the August 31st deadline.
Is that true? The reserve
Yeah.
selection show?
DJ LeMayu
Oh,
is batting 342.
Yeah.
He has a 390 on base percentage, and he's slugging 528.
How many homers?
Hold on, I'll pull that up. He doesn't have many homers. He only has 12, but he does have 59 RBI.
He's not the league MVP. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous.
Well, and we got a long way to go.
I got to look at the numbers, but he's not the league MVP.
And not that it matters for the Mets, but they're going to put this first baseman in the home run hitting contest next week, and then he'll never hit a home run the rest of the year. That's what happens.
I don't buy into that stuff.
I think I'll be very concerned about
Nah, come on.
Is Chris Berman doing the home run hitting contest?
Is he still doing that?
No, he hasn't done the past couple.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't do it last year? Back. How many times can you hear that? Back. It gets a little much there. All right, let's do our round robin. What's going? Oh, we're gonna end the show here. I was gonna say we were gonna do a real quick round robin, but we're done here today. Bruce, is that the deal? Oh, you got. All right, go ahead. My clock's off. All right, we'll do a quick break here, and when we get back, we will not take your calls. You're listening to Talking Sports. I'm John Friedman. We'll be right back.
What do you think, Marty? Is sponsored by Brown & Brown Metro. They do insurance, homeowners, automotive, workers' compensation.
By the way, that was terrific. That last segment,
Huh?
that was great. The bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
That was the best we ever had.
Yeah.
I think that sounded good. Really good. I think we're losing that.
Brown & Brown Metro on the web at bbmetro.com or give them a call at 973-549-1900.
So what do I do after this break? How much time do I have?
This week's luxury Jersey City apartment from the KRE Group is a gorgeous 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment.
Bruce, what time do you want me out?
South and east with a magnificent view of the Statue of Liberty and Manhattan skyline at Journal Square. This 1,071 square foot home features an open concept layout.
Oh, 31 after the hour, up the bottom of the hour, go all the way to 31?
Quartz countertops,
Okay.
luxuriously appointed bathrooms, full-size washer and dryer unit, central heating, cooling, and much more. Their leasing office is open 7 days a week, and you can reach them at info@journalsquare.com or give them a call at 201-659-7100. Check out KREinJC.com for more details.
Many doctors in the U.S. and Canada have chosen the Back Institute for their own care. Experts in non-traumatic spine surgery. No cutting, no bleeding, no drilling, no scarring. With offices in New York City, Philadelphia, and Beverly Hills, BackInstitute.com offers information about new non-traumatic techniques. Visit Back Institute online at BackInstitute.com or give them a call at 800-956-6724. That's 800-956-6724. Back Institute, award-winning spine surgeons and physicians.
Advertisers trying to reach potential customers in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world are having a difficult, if not impossible, time figuring out how to do so. There are so many options, from the traditional media to the practically limitless digital and social platforms that are available, making it harder than ever for businesses to get their message in front of the right audience. There is a solution, however, and it's called SCG Advertising and Public Relations. SCG is a full-service advertising and public relations agency that can help you navigate through today's chaotic media landscape and reach your potential customer. We help our clients strengthen their relationships, reputations, and brands by integrating your message across the entire media spectrum. The folks at SCG understand the options available to advertisers and will work with you to determine the best creative and media plan for your business. So learn more about us by visiting scgadv.com. That's scgadv.com. We'll help you reach your customers. All of
us on social media, Twitter at 77 WABC Radio, Facebook like 77 WABC.
All right, we're back. About 2 minutes left in the show tonight, so we'll do our usual quick round robin. Jeff, what do you got going on tomorrow?
I'm testing out my grill. My first test run with my grill.
Oh, nice. What are you going to be cooking in that thing?
You name it. Burgers, hot dogs, steak. You come by, John.
I might have to do that.
Hook you up.
I'm really mad that it's an ESPN game with the Braves and Mets tomorrow because I wanted to go to the game, but I wanted it to be a day game. I don't feel like schlepping out there. Chuck, how about you?
I got softball in the morning, and then a barbecue right after.
Now we got any bruises this week from being behind the plate.
I'm all healed, healthy, ready to go.
Beautiful. Bruce, how about you? You got anything good happening tomorrow? I know you're probably working all day. Today, you probably worked all day.
Exactly, both.
All right, then. Well, I hope it rains then tomorrow, so you don't have to deal with that. All right. Looks like we're coming to the end of this week's show. As always, I hope your team wins. I want to thank Jeff, Bruce, and Charles behind the glass and making it happen. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank our callers. And I especially want to thank you, the listeners. You've been listening to Talking Sports on a Saturday evening. I'm John Friedman. Have a great week, everybody.
WABC, New York. This program is sponsored by Balance of
Great job, guys. Great job.
Those of the sponsor and are not necessarily the opinions of 77 WABC or Cumulus Media.
Or former Cumulus. Or the former Cumulus Media. Not until the end of the quarter. It goes through the end of third. When's that? September, yeah.
You don't want any of these? All three of them.
No, hold them. You're coming in, so hold them. I'll put one in my briefcase, maybe. Did it work? Oh, it worked, right?
Yeah, it's good.
I studied nutrition for a long time.
And they're gold.
This product is
Yeah.
so superior. It's in a class by itself. I can't say enough about it. I just love it.
I just love it.
July 4th,
Love
receive
what?
a 30% discount
What time's
and
your
free
train?
shipping on your
Sorry
first
that I
preferred
snapped
order of
on your
Balance of
staff.
Nature.
CC.
Also receive an
What is
extra
that?
$10
CC
off
signed
any
it.
Oh, really?
additional set
Yeah.
of fruits and veggies
What time
purchased.
is
This offer will
either
expire, so
1?
don't wait.
So I just don't want you to miss it, so make sure you know what the deal is. I took the training today. I didn't
Oh, you
know.
did?
Yeah.
Balanceofnature.com and use discount code
No, I
WABC.
have two options.
I would like to wish everyone a happy
We're
Independence
gonna
Day
find some
weekend
marijuana on the
and welcome
street.
you to the Balance of Nature radio show, home of the Balance of Nature
Get
whole life
arrested.
system.
Have to call
My name
Lane.
is Laura Smith.
They can't arrest you for a little thing like that now.
Yeah.
From doctors
They,
and
they,
leading
they just
experts
don't, right?
on
They
how
don't-
you
they
can
don't
improve
care.
your
No, I think it's in the
life
law. You
simply
can smoke a
through
joint in the city
nutrition.
now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's a
later in the
ticket.
show, we will be discussing
Oh,
the
wow.
question.
It's not a
Do
summons
you know
anymore.
what
It's like
vitamins
you get a ticket, like a
and are
parking
the
ticket.
vitamins you're taking possibly
I thought
hurting
that
you
only was
long
Atlantic.
term?
Just looking at me like, oh my God, you're going to do that?
I don't care.
Well, I know you don't care.
I really don't care.
Benefits of good nutrition, but few
My
are
wife shares. It
actually
became an
accomplishing
issue
it.
for us for a while.
Through modern
No,
I had to
technology,
stop. Well, I
Balance
had
of
was
Nature
just
has found a
abusing
way to
it.
simplify the process.
Not abusing it, but you know,
Processed fruits
enough
and
where, all right,
vegetables
can you
in
stop doing that?
Did you smoke
by
before you were
taking
married?
3 fruit
Oh,
and
yeah.
3
And she
veggie
knew?
capsules.
Oh, yeah.
You can get
It's,
the
you know what happens. Son of an issue until you get married.
in less
You
than
don't
10
have kids
seconds.
around.
Every
Well,
Balance of Nature
I got
How much
busted a
did
few
you
times.
get?
Not,
Really?
well, when they got older, you know, we're empty nesters, but they, you know, you got sloppy once in a while.
Yeah.
The skunk in the backyard didn't work anymore.
Wow.
You know, the excuse.
Wow.
Makes you
That-
stupid to stay.
yeah, the smells stuck together.
Then I went to
I
vape.
did well with that stuff. Oh, you did. You did.
And that doesn't smell. It doesn't do well.
Are you a cigarette smoker?
No, never been a cigarette smoker. Just was
No,
always a
I'm
pot
one of
smoker.
those-
Never a drinker.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Don't drink.
Even that.
Not even that kiddish club kind of thing.
Interesting.
Not my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very bad with that.
Pot's always, you know, it gives you a bad reaction.
Oh,
You mean?
horrible.
Like what happened?
I get crazy apparently, really paranoid.
People get, some people get like that. You know what I get crazy? Hungry.
Yeah.
That's my
I don't
thing.
get hungry, I get crazy.
It just chemically doesn't work for you.
Yeah, really bad.
But do you drink
Not really.
socially? But not even socially. You like the
Not
taste
really,
of it.
but yeah.
Not beer or
I
no?
like beer, I'm trying to cut it out. I love beer.
You do love beer?
Yeah. But I'm not like a whiskey guy.
No, but